Hi mate, how are you doing?
Oh, God. I don't know why my energy level has just dipped in the last 3 days or something like that. I feel like I'm hanging on by a thread and I need to get back to bed for a bit. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Do you think it could be the weather?
I don't tend to have seasonal affective disorders, so I don't think that's it.
But it is a bit miserable in patches today, isn't it?
Yes, it was
it's
hailing
overcast
at one point.
now. It was hailing.
Yeah, it was hailing at one point today.
Hailing?
I was in Leyland earlier this afternoon and it was hailing.
Right,
So what the
right.
hell is going on?
So what happens there when it starts hailing? It's a hot and cold front come together and clash, and then hailstones. I don't know.
Yeah, if you say so. I don't know. I'm not a weatherman. Or anyone who's ever studied weather patterns. Don't know what those people are called.
No. Well, listen. I want to start this segment by saying, while by and large, our visitors are normally happy with our content,
Oh?
it's been brought to my attention that one or two people have been profoundly affected with elements of our previous pre-show show. You're worried now, aren't you? You don't know where I've come from here.
Are they upset that the Mecca Bingo is closing?
Oh, well, there you probably guessed a little bit then. Have you seen this? So, if you recall, I reported some extremely sad news last week. Which was
Viewer discretion is advised. Triggering news may occur.
Well, listen, it's deeply hurt me and my good lady wife. And that, of course, was the news that the Mecca Bingo Hall in St Helens is due to close down on Sunday, the 7th of June. This has had a profound effect on my mental health. But last week, you and Andy, but mainly you, showed no sympathy for me whatsoever.
Well, I wouldn't have gone so far as to say that. We were upset.
Listen, it was duly noted by employees of Mecca, and they, and in particular Darren, Matty, Adam and Peter, wanted me to bring this to your attention. So, in a nutshell, you are a buffoon. How do you answer to that?
I'll see them on the dole line.
Oh, that's terrible. That's really, really bad, that.
I'm sorry, fellas. No, do you know what? Nobody likes seeing places closed down and, you know, people being made redundant and bits like that. It's awful. I'm sure they are multi-talented gentlemen, and I'm sure they'll find something that will fit their talents and capabilities equal as much as what the Mecca Bingo in St Helens did.
Listen, I think they might get offered gigs at other relocations, but there's that many closing down. I think they're very few and far between. I do know one in particular, Matty. He's already got a job in Club 3000 in Huyton. So he's local to that, so he travels from Huyton every night anyway
easy days.
To work.
So they've been scouting him, haven't they?
Yeah, most definitely. Listen, if he can bring the same charisma to Club 3000, then they're on a winner. Because to be perfectly honest with you, whenever I go there, it bores me to sleep.
It's rejuvenating.
Listen, anyway, I literally don't know what the future has in store for Rowena and I.
Pardon?
Well, I just don't know what we're going to do on our lonely nights. I might have to dust off me Barry White LP, crack open a bottle of non-alcoholic Pinot Grigio, and hope that somehow she will re-engage with me once again. Although, to be really fair, I think she's already Googling our next and nearest bingo hall. 6 and 9, 60.
No, what the hell are you doing? Put that down.
I just got the Barry White in my head.
Whatever. Give me that paper.
You know what I am planning on doing?
What do you? No, I don't. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Like, listen, it's Sunday the 7th of June, and as a protest, I am going to handcuff myself to my chair on the final night. I want to save Mecca St Helens.
I honestly don't think you have a say unless you're going to buy it out. And I don't think you'd do that, because if you had the money to buy it out...
save it.
Why? Well, no,
because normally when these businesses decided they're going to sell or close down a few sites, they reprieve one, and I'm just hoping, like it was right at this time last year when we were hoping for a reprieve for
and as we hoped,
football club.
Yes,
we'll
and as it turned out,
for Mecca St Helens.
And as it turned out last year, that reprieve will absolutely not be coming. It usually takes a bit more than just a one-man wrecking crew and a pair of handcuffs.
Listen, we mentioned to Darren the fact that So, listen, we've been to Exeter. So when we were on holiday last year in Dawlish, we went to Exeter Bingo there. We went for many nights there.
Yes.
That's another club that's getting closed down.
Yes.
Yeah. Just trying to think what else has been closed down. So Selden's, that used to be in Skem years ago, used to go to that. That's been closed down.
Yeah, that much of Skem has been closed down, let's be honest.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is there's a reoccurring reoccurring theme here.
Yeah, you and bingo halls.
Well, yeah, not just that.
A good match.
Not just that, because once we got the fancy for bingo again, we joined the one Mecca in Southport, and that closed down.
Right.
So yeah, everywhere we seem to go gets closed down. So
yes,
I'd just say Club 3000 in Wigan be totally aware of what's going on.
I think you should just stay away.
We'll probably get banned from all bingo halls, to be fair.
Yes, just stay away from them all, and then they'll all be allowed to flourish. Although you keep putting in a load of money, so I'm not really sure how else it's to work out.
Look, we're going to save a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. Unless we found something spectacular.
Yes. I hear parasailing's really good this time of year.
Parasailing with my back?
Yeah.
I don't even know whether you can parasail with tramadol in your system.
I think it's worth a go. I think you get high as a kite and then high as a kite.
That'd be a trip and a half, wouldn't it?
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, on a serious note, it really, we're thinking now, the closer it gets, we've just got that many sort of got friendly with an awful lot of people in there, and particularly the staff. The staff are absolutely wonderful. Yes. And when anything comes to an end, you just think, well, I'm not going to probably see these people ever again.
Have they got season tickets for Skem?
No, well, listen, I mean, that could be arranged.
Yeah, or they could have tickets.
There was talk of Matty becoming a mascot for Matty the Mascot. But purely just because of his name, but he could have been our mascot for next season.
The Blue Boy. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so
yeah,
we're long. Well, listen, we've got a week away because
yes, you do.
We're off the show for at least a couple of weeks. So we're off to the Great Orme. We've got a farm.
That is in Wales.
Yes.
For those of you who are not geographically possessed.
Llandudno.
Llandudno.
Llandudno, is it? Llandudno.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced.
I told you originally I thought it was Welsh. I found out it was 47% Irish.
Oh, for the love of Christ.
How many times have I mentioned that?
How many times you got the accent wrong as well?
Do you really think I've got the accent wrong?
Yes!
Seriously, everybody says that I've got a great Irish voice.
You don't.
Do you really think I don't?
Yeah, I've watched enough episodes. I've watched enough episodes
Can
I
just listen back to that to prove?
Not now. You can do it when you publish.
So it doesn't sound Irish at all?
It sounds like the tiniest little bit Irish, in the same way that if you just dipped your tea
So
bag into a cup of milk.
I'll try it a little bit then. I'll try. Let's read something. So while by and large, I can't do it now.
What are you doing?
I feel like I'm auditioning. No, I'm going to try and perfect my Irish accent here while on the show. Well, by and large, I can't do it now. You see, I can't. I've got to turn into Cornish or Bristolian.
Your capacity,
and you don't even think I can do that, do you? So I am definitely 47% Irish. Anyway, the records, the DNA proves it.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. The 53% of you that isn't Irish is absolutely determined that
the
47% is kept down.
Well, I'm certainly not bloody Welsh then, am I? Because I didn't pronounce Llandudno correctly.
Llandudno, yeah. But that's a rarity, that one. I mean, Welsh names are difficult to pronounce at the best of times, but I learned that, yeah, despite it being Llandundo, it's actually pronounced Llandudno, oddly.
And do you know where your background is in your ancestry? Do you know what you're made up of?
Well, yeah. So I've got quite a fair old bit of English because my family for the last couple of...
I struggle to understand that, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's because I'm from Yorkshire. So I
can't hear any English in your voice there.
Barely manage the Irish.
Your English is worse than my Irish.
Yeah, that's largely because we're from complete opposite ends of the...
So go on, where are you from?
So a good chunk of us is from the Yorkshire and Lincolnshire area. So my family are based in deep rural Lincolnshire, sort of Grimsby area.
This is really boring because 1% of me is Maltese. So far, you've not come up with anything other than...
Because you've not let me speak!
Go on, carry on.
Alright, I've got a little bit of Scottish going on in there somewhere. But my granddad was... Shush. My granddad was full-born Welsh. He was born in Gorseinon, which is just down in Swansea. So my mother is half Welsh and I am quarter Welsh.
So where's the Scottish line? Is that through your dad?
Yes, it is through my father. There's also...
What you tend to find is that you're more... you sort of... roots are more with your mother, aren't they, than your father?
Can be, yeah. My great-granddad was German, though.
German?
Yes.
Sprachen die Deutsch?
Yeah. Little bit.
Is that your interpretation of the German accent?
Well, I can do a decent German. Yeah, I can do a decent German accent, yeah.
Now, that doesn't sound German to me.
Well, as we have established, you have an awful ear for accents.
That sounds more sort of, what would you call it? Holland?
Dutch.
Dutch?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. If you want me to do, I'll do the Northwest Counties roundup in the German accent.
No, you can't do that because that's the second
whirlwind in the last few weeks, winning the Macron Cup and the approach from Burscough.
How's your Scottish?
How's me Scottish?
Yeah.
I don't even try Scottish accent.
And how's your Welsh?
It's even worse, to be honest. Like, I haven't got the most blessed capability to do accents. I just know, roughly speaking, where I'm from. So there's a lot of English, quite a good chunk of Welsh going on in there, tiny little bit of Scottish, and a decent amount of German mixed up in there as well.
Surprisingly, I've got a touch of German in me as well.
Is it breakfast night?
I don't know. It's definitely a touch of German, that's all.
Right, well...
It itches from time to time, like, but...
Dear God. Right, so that concludes this segment of Who Do You Think You Are?
So listen, what have you been watching on telly?
I don't watch telly, Frank.
Okay, what have you been watching on Netflix?
Actually, do you know what? Fair enough, I have been watching something, and this will throw you off a little bit because it's not usually kind of my cup of tea, but I have kind of been watching it as well. It's called The Life of Bees, and it's a documentary in how bees exist. Yeah, exactly. So my missus is like a really big advocate of like animal welfare, nature preservation, all that kind of carry on. I will throw pens,
Sorry. It's been a long day. Go on, carry on.
So she started watching this documentary on bees. So I started watching a documentary on bees. And actually, bees are pretty decent. If we didn't have bees, like the whole structure of food creation, farming, and like nature,
I believe so,
would just crumble to a massive pile in the universe, and we'd be stuffed. So fair play to bees.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not discounting the fact that it might be a very interesting story. I do like
really your snoring would.
Well, I like a lot of nature programs myself, but
do you?
I also like a little bit of crime.
Oh, and don't we fucking know it?
Well, yeah. You know what I've been watching?
Oh,
I don't know whether
who's murdered who.
I've been watching The Legends. Have you heard about it?
No.
Steve Coogan.
Is that when he plays Savile?
No. I've not watched that. I don't think I could watch that. It's too dark for me. Too heavy. Way too heavy for me.
Fine.
But no, this is about Thatcher's Britain, if you like, back in the day when the country was overtaken by heroin. So there's a huge influx of heroin in both here and America.
Cool.
And they tried to crack down on it. Sorry, I didn't mean the word crack down on it, like, but it's crack. So yeah, basically,
sorry.
Basically, what they did was they put a team of sort of what would you call them, customs officers together.
Sure.
To crack down on the influx of heroin in the country.
Okay.
I've only watched the first part of it. I don't think you've even watched the first full part of it yet, but it looks fantastic.
So this is
based on a true story.
Yeah, it's like a prequel to Train Spotting, isn't it? When they all go.
So the influx came through London and Liverpool. That's where the highest concentration of heroin was, and then obviously it was spreading throughout the country.
Yes.
And Margaret Thatcher came out famously on the steps of Downing Street or wherever she was and turned around and declared war on the
war on drugs,
the heroin imports.
What a dramatic woman she was.
Yeah, but really looking forward to watching the rest of that. Steve Coogan is an excellent actor. Doesn't matter what you think of him personally. He's a great actor, there's absolutely no doubt about it. There's very few and far between, and I think the other fella's the one that won did win a BAFTA or an Academy Award the other day Stephen
Graham.
Stephen Graham.
Oh God, he's in everything these days. Mm-hmm. You can barely watch anything on Netflix or ITV without Stephen Graham appearing in it.
Who was the other fella that used to do? He did Brian Clough, didn't he? Does great.
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen as well.
Yeah, Michael Sheen's a bit more off the beaten track these days, but he's another one who just seemed to play everybody.
Great character actor.
Yes, he's a very good character actor. Played
and he can no doubt pull off the Irish accent far better than I can.
Yes, he can.
All comes back to the Irish accent.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I've been watching. Obviously, I've been watching Coronation Street in Emmerdale as well.
Obviously. Yeah, I saw a little clip from Coronation Street, actually. I just happened to stumble on it, and it was a schoolboy with glasses, and he's fighting a bully, but he's not.
Yeah, well, they asked the question, Coronation Street, their sort of Twitter page said, did anybody guess what was coming up? And I did. I said to Rowena, I said, every time he bumped into this lad, I felt as though he wasn't there. Because it switched from when he was in the Rovers to when he wasn't, directly. And I thought, no, that can't be him. Can't be. So, this lad has obviously got huge issues, mental issues now, and he's seeing things. So, yeah, he ended up scrapping with him. Himself. With himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It shows you from an aerial point of view. You can see what he's seeing.
Yes.
He pushes the bin over, and then he starts pushing him
and swinging.
Yeah, but then from the push, it goes to the aerial view where he's on his own. He's pushed him, and he started kicking and punching him.
Swinging thin air.
Really good actor, by the way, that lad.
Fair play. You've got to be to play somebody with mental health difficulties at 15 years old.
He's been in the show for a few years now.
Has he now?
He's grown up. Like these little kids, the
child actors,
cute little kids.
Yeah.
And then they grow older.
And then they don't become. Yeah. No, I'm with you. And then they stop being cute. And
Yeah, but he's still kept his cuteness, really, to be fair. I don't know whether it's the glasses, you know what I mean? But
yes, always glasses.
He's still very much a kid, but he's playing a fantastic part.
He's
great actor. I can't remember his name, but
fine.
He's going to win something off the back of that.
British Soap Awards, best young actor or something like that. Dramatic performance, one of these.
Do you think I get the best Irish accent?
No! Seen enough episodes of Derry Girls to realise that is not an Irish accent.
So when you see me playing on TV an Irish character in the years to come,
you'd be playing Buttons in Cinderella, and that may be.
Well, I did play Buttons in Cinderella.
There it is. Of course you did. God.
Oh yes, he did. Oh no, he did. Sorry. So yeah, that's what I've been watching amongst that, and it's been, of course, a really, really busy week.
Standard.
We're going to take a couple of weeks break from the show,
at
least, and then we're probably going to come back with interviews.
Are we?
I think we come back with interviews. We're going to try and get this quiz show off the mark again, because it went down particularly well last week.
Did it?
Yes,
Jesus.
Even though they were all rubbish at it, to be fair.
I won, so...
Well, you know what, there's a debate on that one as well, you know.
Who the hell is starting a debate about this?
Well, somebody...
I want names.
Somebody that listened to it... I'm not going to name it. It's not fair to name... it's not fair to mention Kevin. It's not fair to mention his... Sorry, but Kevin turned around and said he's been doing his own totting up system, and he reckons that I was too generous with giving you points when you didn't deserve them. I gave you too many clues, he said, in fact.
What do you mean you gave me too many clues? This was literally the point of the quiz, is that you were allowed 2 clues...
Yeah, but what he's saying is he counted and I gave you more than 2 clues. So if that's the case, then you lose that extra 5 points, and that means that you actually came second behind Andy and I. So I can declare right now that Andy and I were winners for last week's non-league quiz of the week.
But you were not, and I indeed won. So do you know what? I'm taking that, and you get extra points for winning that quiz on the back of the results predictions. So I win the whole season.
The results predictions?
Yeah, the results predictions that we've been doing every week.
That I've won?
No, that I've won.
You've just made it up. Because we never counted all of them. It's only the ones that we counted that count, you know. You do realise that, don't you?
No, because I won 7 on the spin, because you failed to turn in your own.
No, you can't. You can't have 7 wins on a spin when
if
we don't
you're
exist.
making up rules about the big fat non-league quiz of the week, then...
Are you having a pop at me?
Yes! This is an uprising.
Are you calling me a big fat man of the quiz?
I didn't say that.
Ooh.
My God.
How rude.
Carrying on like he's Johnny Vegas and all of a sudden I've just hurt him where it hurts.
Yeah, but it would be nice to get... the thoughts about the format and thought what we could do is we could invite a member of each club. So say AFC Liverpool versus Burscough, that'd be a contentious one right now, wouldn't it? That'd
be more like Jeremy Kyle at this rate.
If we could get two contestants to compete against each other, we could be...
the Quizmasters?
We could be on their side. So you could be on the AFC Liverpool, I could go on Burscough's side.
Is that because Jay's got way more knowledge of the non-league system than whoever the AFC Liverpool guy is?
I don't think he's the chairman of the Northwest Counties, so That's
Gary Langley, isn't it? It's Chris Stirrup, of course it is. Yeah.
So you'd probably win hands down there if you teamed up with AFC Liverpool.
Because I'm naturally just good at this stuff anyway.
Yeah. What you'd have to do is you'd have to get somebody to pick the team.
You'd have to get somebody to make the questions as well, and that can be...
Yeah, we need a quizmaster. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We need a quizmaster. I think I might have one.
Yes.
I've got to run it by him again.
Okay, but
I've
Otherwise, we are advertising for a quizmaster on the Speaking Frankly Football Show. CV credit will be given. We are willing to pay up to 20 pence and a can of Coke.
Well, yeah, you get a can of Coke. Sometimes you get a twirl. You do get little mini twirls, don't you?
They're my twirls.
Yeah, you get them.
I'm not sharing mine.
So you're getting paid. You're the only one that's getting paid on this show. I have to drink water.
That's your choice. You've got high blood pressure and diabetes. What on earth?
Oh, I haven't got high blood pressure.
Yes, you do. You're the chairman of SCEM. Of course, you have high blood pressure.
I have. And when you go and explain it to the practice nurse when she says, "Oh, your blood pressure's a little bit up."
Yes, I've just come from a game!
But she knows as well because she used to support Skelmersdale United Football Club.
She
occasionally still goes to watch them, particularly when we were back at when we were at Burscough. So hopefully we'll get a few more supporters coming through
Decent.
the door next season.
I suppose we better crack on with the show, actually.
Yeah, I think we get off.
Fine.
Fed up with talking to you, anyway.
Shut up.
You too.
Done with you.
Go on, get lost.
No.
Go on.
Fine.
Off you pop.
You can do it yourself then.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer AJ Vergette. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is episode 42 of season 2, and believe it or not, this is our 70th overall show. So listen, yes, brilliant, yeah, who'd have thought we'd have got this far, but listen, I'll leave the intro to the fine dulcet tones of AJ.
We don't introduce the dulcet tones until the end, Frank. Why are you choosing now, the season finale, to start dicking about with this construct of the show?
Well, we'll see if your tones are as dulcet at the end
as they're just irritating. They're not dulcet.
Dull at the start.
They're not dull at all. Honestly, you need leathering at some point. You're getting far too cheeky for this. No reason that I should put up with it. I'm a jobbing voice actor and radio host now. Good evening, hello, morning and afternoon. This is AJ and Frank, the Speaking Frankly Football Show, season finale of season 2. And it's all been kicking off, not just between me and Frank, and a ball hasn't even been kicked for the old season or the new yet. We've got managerial exits and entries galore. We've got clubs collapsing in on themselves. We've got walkouts and riots aplenty, and the allocations have only just come out. and that's even before we've done my weekly shop and gone home. But anyway, we're going to bring you every single bit of drama from the Northwest Counties roundup. There are no results to reflect on, so it will just be all the drama that's been kicking off on the sidelines and in the stands. We will talk about Ramsbottom and Burscough, AFC Liverpool first of all, and then we'll go actually straight to Controversial Corner from that, when we've been talking about a certain football establishment within Skelmersdale that seems to have rattled a few sabres. We do have a couple of guests as well. We have Gary Langley, who is on the committee of the Northwest Counties Football League. He is also the chairman of South Liverpool Football Club. He is going to be talking to us about the recent allocations for the non-league pyramid that came out on Thursday afternoon. We're going to be quizzing him on all the controversial moves and shakes that have occurred at Step 5 and 6. We will then be shifting to talk to Phil Stafford, who's just taken up the hot seat at Burscough Football Club, moving from a successful spell at AFC Liverpool. He's going to be talking to us about challenges old and new. We'll also then be talking about Skelmersdale United Football Club and how our season has finished, and then how we reflect on a first season in the Liverpool Counties Football League and what we can expect and anticipate in the new season coming forward. So Franklin, first off.
Well, listen, if we get the opportunity as well, we will bring Martin Fallon onto the show, possibly round about the end, just to get the perspective from Runcorn Town's position with their lateral move to the Midlands League.
You said we weren't going to talk about that until we'd spoken to Gary.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying to you is we'll speak to Gary first, and then if we get a chance to, we'll speak to Martin as well. But listen, in the meantime, let's talk about Northwest Counties. Not a great deal to talk about in terms of results, fixtures.
Well, I told you that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just repeating what you've said. But what we can and what we do know is that Dave Dempsey left Burscough by mutual consent over the weekend and was quickly replaced by Phil Stafford, who's our guest later on in the show. Phil,
yes,
who's just guided the club to the first ever cup win. We have an exclusive interview with him. We'll be speaking to him in part 3 of the show?
Part 3.
Part 3 of the show, that's it.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be a really interesting one.
Yes.
Listen, we get no pleasure out of seeing managers go, but arguably you could say Burscough finished just one position above where they were last season. The expectations were probably a little bit higher than that. I think certainly, if you get the opportunity to speak to Jay, as we often do, I think a great cup run should have probably ended up with a cup.
Trophy, yeah.
AFC Liverpool were the ones that picked up that one.
Yeah, they were. So if you can't beat them, join them. Because I believe AFC Liverpool beat Burscough to get their way through to the Macron Cup, if I remember correctly. But yeah, after 3 years, is it 3? Maybe even 2? 2 years in charge at Burscough, Dave Dempsey has stepped away from the Linnets hot seat, quickly replaced by Phil Stafford, who's just come in on the back of the Macron Cup victory with AFC Liverpool. Expectations naturally high at Burscough. They're a well-run club, well backed by the community assets that they've got in place, as well as Jay Hawkes at the chairman. After having finished in 10th position within the league and put all their eggs arguably into the late season run at the Macron Cup, they then fell short of that, so it was a trophyless, playoffless season for the Linnets. Jay's decided that changes needed to bank up their expectations for the coming season, and he's gone with Phil Stafford, whose credibility has known no bounds after a excellent period with AFC Liverpool. Not a lot of money involved, but he's maximised the best as to what he can.
Punching above the weight.
I think punching above the weight is fair. We've often talked about AFC Liverpool as being one of those Jekyll and Hyde sides who win as many games as they lose, score as many goals as they concede, and if they had their wits about them in defence, they'd probably be an awful lot higher than where they finished in the league at this point, which was 13th.
Be interesting to see whether Phil Stafford will answer the question of whether he's going to bring any of those players from AFC Liverpool.
Oh, I'm sure he's got his eye on one or two.
Well, particularly Elliot Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he brings either one of Elliot Taylor or Caleb Jones to the club, you can pretty be sure that they are flexing muscle for next season, and they're looking to make that run to the playoffs at least. And given that the movers and shakers within the allocations, it means that Burscough have probably more of a chance this season to reach that plinth of peaks in the Premier Division.
You'd certainly like to think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would, absolutely. And I think once he's seen them, Jay will probably be in agreement as well, thinking playoffs is a minimum and a trophy. And I completely understand why.
Yeah. And looking at Chatterton, because we've mentioned them a few times during the season.
Yes, they have.
Lewis Byrne has decided to leave, as has Benito Lowe as well, we know. The two seem to go together. We've heard rumours that, certainly Lewis Byrne looks to be going to Flixton.
Yeah, so he's dropping down.
There's a picture of him with Rodri Giggs on Twitter, which alerted everybody to the fact that he could be going there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there was a caption saying, well, I'm not surprised on £600 a week. I don't know whether they've got that kind of money, but
we don't know if that's true or not.
No, we don't, but it's a vicious rumour if it is.
It's been touted. Yeah, it has been touted that Lewis Byrne is set to join Flixton, thereby dropping from the Premier Division in the counties to the First Division South, plying his trade at Flixton, the newly allocated to the First Division South Flixton. First Division North, pardon me, and getting paid £600 a week to do so. If it is, that is a enormous statement of intent from Flixton.
And what we do know is we know that Flixton are backed by a multi-millionaire American investor.
Yes.
We heard rumours of $5 million had been put into the football club immediately. If that's correct, then they're serious competition.
Yes, they are. Even just with Lewis Byrne on his own, that doesn't include anybody else really. It's a ridiculous sum of money at this level. I mean, we've heard rumours of a £400 a week player in the Division 1 North, but we never thought. I don't think either of us ever thought that we'd get a 600er.
Well, I was talking to Ben Barnes on Saturday, and he said that the player that we thought was on £350, £400 a season was actually on £600 this season.
Really?
Yeah.
But that player and that team have not gone anywhere this season.
No.
They made it to a cup final and lost.
Yeah.
And that was it. Unbelievable.
So let's look at those teams. So when you look at the more balanced sides there, obviously Atherton LR, David Jones has done a fantastic job. Not the best budget in the world. But not the worst by any stretch of the imagination.
Not now, but I mean the structure that's going on off the pitch is probably going to see that budget increase this season. I think they're going to need one or two playing personnel to come in and join the ranks. Adeola Obasoto has already announced his retirement from football. He's been limited in game time for the LR this season due to an ongoing injury. He's decided to hang up his boots, so that's playing personnel that's going to need to be covered. I think there's one or two other additions that Davey's going to want to make to see if they can make that next great leap from being playoff semi-finalists, which they were last season, into being playoff winners, champions, whatever you want to call it, to get them up into step 4. So LR is automatically a team that you look at. We've obviously talked about.
Well, we'll look at other teams in a minute, but first of all, let's talk about the departure of Ramsbottom manager Steve Wilkes.
Well, yes, so it had already been announced right at the end of the last season, and we'd covered it previously on the show, that Steve Wilkes, the Ramsbottom manager, was retiring from football management after 1,330 games during an illustrious managerial career, including the likes of Padiham and Darwin, as well as Northwich Vicks, I believe. Yeah, exactly. So he an astonishing career, glittering with success.
But his departure has been sort of overshadowed by rumours of budget cuts, fallouts with sponsors and supporters.
Oh, there's not even rumours. There has absolutely been an implosion at that club at the beginning of this week. So it first happened when Macaulay Wilson, who is the one of the centre halves for Ramsbottom United over the last couple of seasons, he announced his departure from Ramsbottom, stating internal difficulties and not playing for the only gaffer he wanted to play for.
You do realise that internal difficulties, if you're me, is hemorrhoids. Anyway, just going off the...
Fucking hell.
I just wanted to make it a little bit more... You're sounding far too serious. Go on, it's the tramadol. It's kicked in.
Oh, Jesus whips, we're going to have a long show. Anyway, so he was one of the first to announce his departure. He was quickly followed by Jacob Holland Wilkinson, and other players began to announce departures, as well as managerial and coaching staff as well. The fallout from this stemmed from an allegation that Harry Williams, the owner and chairman of Ramsbottom United, decided against appointing Rob Henry, Wilkes' long-time number 2, giving him the assent that many felt was rightly his to take up, and Harry was looking to go in a different direction. There was also fallouts with sponsors and supporters who complained of the way that Harry had spoken to them and treated them in the past, and local sponsorship groups were walking away and leaving the club slightly more financially stricken than when they were during the season. This soap opera swirled for about 3 days until it was announced on Wednesday that Harry Williams would be stepping down as chairman. A vice chairman and a new board of directors was formed in the wake of his departure, and they suitably and swiftly appointed Rob Henry as the manager in his own right. Rob is 38 years old, holds a UEFA A licence, and joined the club last summer after having previously worked assistant manager at Lancaster City, FC United of Manchester and Bootle. He'd also had a decent playing career in the non-league, including the likes of Lancaster City, Chorley, Bamber and Kendal Town. With the club just missing out in the playoffs last season, there was some necessity to keep continuity after Wilkes had stepped down. It was imperative that they looked to go one better and make a return to the Northern Premier League. I believe it's been 3 years now since they were relegated. Yeah. So Rob himself said it's been a whirlwind few days, but he's delighted to be appointed as the new manager of Ramsbottom United FC. He's excited for a real challenge and to build on the momentum and foundations built on last season. There's a real togetherness around the club which has been evident over the past few days, and I'm looking forward to working closely with the players, staff, supporters and volunteers to continue driving standards forward and helping the team progressing. We do actually have to make mention of Harry Williams and his departure. He's been there since creating the club in 1966.
We'll touch on him in a minute, but let's just talk about the appointment of Rob Henry.
Fine.
Normally, when a new manager comes in, the first purchase is a player or something like that. But on this occasion, they decided to go for the simple sum up machine.
That's my joke. I was readying up to say that.
Yeah.
So Harry was notorious
for making... It links well with Harry, doesn't it?
For making Ramsbottom a cash-only society. It was well known that he would charge cash only on the gate and at the bar or wherever the cans were stored, whilst also upselling with raffle tickets as well.
Yeah, charging players.
He was charging.
Going to the changing room.
He'd be going into the changing rooms, handing out a programme, a golden goal and a raffle ticket, and taking some of your money away and demanding it from you.
Yeah, if you don't pay it, they'll take it out your wages.
And there's also lovely little recalls of people's wages stinking like cigarettes because Harry's a chain smoker in his own right.
Can we just say Anthony Johnson and Bernard Morley, they made their name from being given the first opportunity at Ramsbottom, and they've got nothing but respect for Harry, and I think he's earned that. I think whatever whatever he's done recently, whether it's age-related or stubbornness or whatever, he was Ramsbottom United. Ramsbottom wouldn't have existed without him. A great character, flawed, belligerent, annoying, all of those descriptions probably. But you know what? He's someone's dad. He's a fantastic character in football. He's going to be sorely missed. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
He's earned the right to just watch the game.
He's earned the right to be a miserable bastard. Football creates miserable bastards.
I know. You are one.
Oh, right. So picking on me again now.
I'm picking on you because you're being far too hokey jokey.
I know, but I'm trying to be serious about Harry. I know there's an awful lot of criticism.
There has been some criticism.
It is way, and some of it's probably well deserved, but I think we should just remember how much he's done for
Ramsbottom United and its legacy. He created Ramsbottom United. That was his.
And I want to take you there next season.
I'd like that.
New Mills and Ramsbottom too.
I only ever parked outside the ground because it's round the corner from my dentist.
Right, so you just parked there and walked up to your dentist, yeah. I mean, they've got a chippy just over the railway line there on the left-hand side. If you're coming out of the football club, you go across and there's a chippy on the left-hand side. It's a when I say world famous, it's a famous chippy in terms of, if you look in it used to be like that, I don't know whether it still is now, but you go in there and there's pictures of all film stars and particularly soap stars from Coronation Street in Emmerdale.
In Ramsbottom?
Yeah, they've enjoyed their chips there.
God, that's a world famous chippy, that.
Yeah, it is.
Fine. Alrighty then. I will go.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a big congratulations to Rob Henry. I'm sure he's going to protect the legacy, drive standards, and be every bit a success as Steve Wilkes was. And a happy retirement to Harry Williams. We know you've earned it, and we hope very much that you'll continue to go and watch Rami. With just a fag and a pint and no upselling of raffle tickets.
Yeah. Which brings us back to the calibre of the Premier Division going into next season. Obviously, we've heard about budget cuts there. Whether they can reinstate those that financial sort of input into the football club, we don't know. But off the back of this, you probably think that Ramsbottom are not going to be up in that top 5. You could just guess.
Maybe. I think it really depends on how many bridges this board continue to build with their community. I mean, they weren't far away. They made the semi-finals last year and they made the semi-finals the year before. I feel like it's only really a matter of time. I know that there's going to be some players that might not be retained. You would like to hope that there are certain
they've lost
players.
A few already, haven't they? So
whether
they will come back now.
Yeah, I wondered whether they will. I believe that they will, to be honest. I think now that Rob has been instilled as the manager, I think that is the kind of the buy-in that the players want. I think it's also opportunity to try and upskill the squad itself and try and make that next leap, because I truly believe that they can. So I expect them to be one of the teams in and around those parts. You've got to bear in mind as well, we don't mention this, we haven't mentioned it yet, but Wythenshawe Town, who were relegated from the Northern Premier League West, are not going to be in the county's Premier Division. They've been laterally moved down and one across, so they'll be in the Midland Division next season, which means only Trafford are one of the relegated teams. So you would like to hope that both of the teams who make it up through the Premier Division next season are teams who have been there for a few years and aren't just going to be bouncing back straight off the bat.
And it is the funny season now, isn't it? In terms of, I constantly look at these messages on Twitter and Facebook about retained list of players. Now, unless you've actually contracted these players, you can't retain them until the 1st of July, and even then, you're not guaranteed that they'll start the season. So until you've actually signed and started playing, those players are just as likely to go for an extra tenner anywhere in the Northwest County. So it's nice to say that players have shown an allegiance and said, listen, we're staying, and that's great. But, I've looked at the players that we've gotten, and I hope that a certain amount of them stay, whether they will or not. But I'm not going to put my neck out on the line and say,
these are all staying.
These are all staying because we look stupid.
Yeah, we would. I think that people are blowing the whistles far too early.
So go on. Let's look at the rest of them then. Droylsden obviously getting promoted. We know they've got a big. We're replacing one with the other, really, aren't we? So Wythenshawe have been laterally moved to the Midland League as well.
Yes.
They're both Wythenshaws have been laterally moved, haven't they?
Well, no. Wythenshawe are back up in the Northern.
Wythenshawe back up in the Northern Premier West Division. Aren't
yes, they are. So Wythenshawe Town.
Sorry, notice me there.
So it's Wythenshawe
I'm talking
Town.
about West Didsbury have been laterally moved as well.
Yes,
they bring a huge fan base with them. Oh, well, a relatively big, big fan base with them. Yeah. So we've replaced one with Droylsden on average 550.
Oh, and a bit more. I think.
And they could probably do a hell of a lot better now.
Yes, they can.
Now that they've been promoted.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's whether Dave Pacer's going to spend a few bob.
I think he's going to have to.
He's got quality players there, like.
He does already have quality players in there. Cody Artwell, one of their goal scorers, top goal scorers from last season. Jordan Latham, the goalkeeper.
He won't be two-phased then, will he?
Kaelan Kellini, the captain. There's loads of players within that team that are absolutely skilled as anything, but they're also ones who want to start out this new adventure with a successful Droylsden team. They've already got the core of the squad there. I think they'll need to make several additions to make them Premier Division fodder, because it wasn't plain sailing for them in the in last season. They had to fight right till the bitter end against McGull in the penalty shootout in sudden death to be able to earn that right to be promoted. So they do have something of a squad restructure to do, but I believe they'll do it. Unlike Brent Peters, what do we think? Droylsden are going to stay up. I say how it is. I don't give a flying fuck.
I love the way you say it. It doesn't sound a bit like him, but it's close.
All right, Irishman.
Irishman, yes.
No,
right. We're not going to go there again.
We are not.
So looking at the rest of the teams there. Listen, I'm not going to take this as a gospel right now, because we'll have over the next few weeks we'll look at player recruitment and what have you before we make a decision. But if you were talking about, let's talk about top three teams now. Looking at that division there, Who would you say they're going to be?
The top three teams. So, I'll definitely have Atherton LR up there.
Yeah.
Okay. I would also have Ramsbottom up there. We've talked about these before.
Yeah.
All right. And I want to say Burscough, but I think that's largely down to allegiance to Jay and to Burscough as a whole, because I know that they've still got quite a bit of work to do. So I'm actually minded to say Earlham.
I'd say Burscough are going to be there or thereabouts, based on if they manage to get Elliot Taylor.
It's a big if.
Well, because when you look at Atherton LR, probably the difference between success and failure is an out-and-out goal scorer, maybe. Who was their highest goal scorer?
It was Tom Romano, and I believe it was over 20 goals last season. I think it may have been about 24, 25. But then you've got to bear in mind...
You've got 46 goals.
No.
Yeah, but I'm saying you've got 46 goals from Elliot. That's a huge difference.
You do. And don't get me wrong, it's a huge amount. And if Burscough were to benefit from him, I don't think you can compare it to LR, because they had goal scorers all over the joint. I think they had about 3 or 4 who chipped in with double digits, including Harvey Sample coming off the bench and scoring about 15 or so. You had Joe Bacon in there, Owen Green. You had players.
Elliot Taylor and Caleb Jones over the line.
That is a huge if, goals. But that's a massive incentive for Burscough to then say, look, we're here, we're ready, we can do this.
Got to sort the defensive issues out, though. That's the
well, yeah, problem. I mean, they're still looking for a goalkeeper, aren't they? I mean, Goodison Gospel-Easy was their goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, Ben Barnes could be going back.
Well, yeah, I mean, he hasn't said whether he is or whether he isn't. We just don't know. He could be.
I think Ben will go. I think Elliot will go. I don't know about Caleb Jones, but I think he'll definitely be on hit his list. And
there'll be radars out for Caleb Jones.
So based on that, I think they could certainly win the league, if not finish in that top 3.
All right.
Atherton LR always said steady Eddies, but got sort of charismatic as well in terms of they know what they want to do, they know where they want to be.
Yeah.
But they're not brash about it, but
they never have been.
They're organised. But then I look at other teams. Then I think, Ramsbottom, if they get the shit together, and they can recreate those finances and retain some of those players, get them back, then they'll do well.
Well, you've got to bear in mind that Ramsbottom cut the budget partway through the season last season as well, and they still finished in the playoffs. If Rob and this new board have a bigger budget to work with, getting a couple of key signings, I see it happening. I really do.
Well, I don't see Chatterton being there.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
I think Nelson could be in the top 5, but we're talking about top 3. So top 3 for me probably is any one of 4. And I would go, like you say, Atherton LR, Burscough, and possibly Prestwich Hayes, stroke.
I mean, this has gone from 3 to 4 to 5.
Droylsden.
At least I had some conviction about it, man.
Well, okay. I'll go top 3 then, and I'll go in this particular order. But I will change it, depending on the recruitment. But I'll go Burscough first, Atherton LR second, and I will go Prestwich Hayes third.
All right. Whereas I'm going Atherton LR, Earlham, and Ramsbottom, but not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, fair enough.
Alrighty.
So, listen, let's have a quick look at the Division 1 North.
Yes.
Listen, we haven't mentioned Trafford. Trafford relegated from the Northern Premier League West.
Yeah.
They come back to the Northwest Counties. No strangers at all to the Northwest Counties. They spent a long time in the Northwest Counties.
Cool.
Really, really nice club run by really, really nice people. You just hope that they can... you just hope this is sort of more their natural level and that they can be competitive. But I don't know a great deal about the finances, but it is a lovely club. First Division North, we still don't know what the full makeup is going to be. You see the T alongside AFC Knowsley and Halewood Apollo. So basically, they need to finish in the top 5.
Yeah, neither. I think. AFC Knowsley, I think, are closer.
No, I think Halewood are more likely because
they've got 3 games in hand, haven't they?
I believe they've had 2 walkovers already as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, the season's over for most Liverpool Premier League teams, so I don't know whether I don't know whether they've just sort of given up the ghost and said we can't get a team together.
Yeah, well, Halewood Apollo are in 4th at the minute.
They're 4th now, are they?
Yeah, they overtook Sefton Athletic.
It must have been updated then. So they're in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more difficult for AFC Knowsley, but I don't know for certain.
They got a home walkover against Granby Toxteth.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then an away walkover against Liver Academy. And that was after having beaten Joey Orrs and then only losing 1-0 to the Grenadier and then beating River. Oh, my God. That's a joke.
Yeah. So, listen, the relegated team, obviously, Litherland, Remica, who almost pulled off a Houdini-style escape.
The greatest of great escapes.
But couldn't quite do it. I think they will do pretty well in
absolutely.
First Division North.
HMS Piss the League Steve Scott is the captain.
Yeah. Don't know a great deal about Upper Mill other than
Oldham.
Oldham, yeah, that's it. So, listen, Manchester teams are always tough to break down.
Yes,
hard to play against.
And then a couple of reprieves as well. So Ashton Athletic, we were reasonably confident that they would be getting the reprieve anyway, finished 3rd bottom. But Garstang have also been reprieved as well. So they get a stay of execution and retain their place in the counties. It does mean, though, we say goodbye to Main Road as well. They have been relegated.
Well, we'll talk about that later on in the show because that's quite sad, to be fair.
It is, but I'm just making our listeners aware. Yeah. And then we've got a couple of lateral movements too.
Yeah. So, Camel Herds and Asheville.
Yes, that makes more sense. They're based over Wallasey way, both of those teams. They carry a Chester postcode or a Crewe postcode, one of the two. But to all intents and purposes, they are proper northern teams, aren't they? So that makes a whole lot of sense for them to be in and around our bracket too. So it's a full 22-man complement from the First Division North, pending, of course, the promotion of Halewood Apollo and AFC Knowsley.
Yeah. So who do you see winning the league there?
For me, I think it'll be a toss-up between Flixton and Remica. And even then, to be honest, I think it really depends on what kind of team Flixton and Alex Mortimer create there. But I think they've already made a major statement of intent if Lewis Simon Byrne does sign for them.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with Remica. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. I think Flixton, I think they will absolutely steamroll the league myself personally. I think they've got the back in there. They've got the bit between the teeth and they've got a decent fan base as well. So
certainly.
First Division South almost looks totally different to what it did 24 hours ago.
It's absolute chaos, isn't it? They have gone from 19 teams last season. Obviously, it was 18 for a good portion when Wolves Sporting Community dropped out.
Yeah.
But they are now a 20-team complement as well. They've had lateral movements come through from Bilston Social, AFC Bridge North, and Wensfield Community, the latter of which was also given a reprieve out of the Midland First Division as well. So they make up the lateral movements. Crew FC needing a top 5 finish, which they seem almost certain to manage as well to achieve their promotion. I believe they're running in 2nd or 3rd in the West Cheshire League. So they are almost certain to go up as well. And then we say a big hello to Dawley Town, who've been promoted from Step 7 as well. They'll take their place in the First Division South as well.
Some interesting names there, isn't there, that we've never seen before. But the one that we've got to obviously mention is Widnes, new club, if you believe that. Listen, nothing against it. Listen, it's it's been approved by the FA and they've got up there. Good luck to them. What I do think is, I think the Northwest Counties looks really fascinating. Certainly does. And probably the most interesting division is First Division North with them 22 teams in it.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. But if you think about it,
you'd love to be in that division.
Yeah, now, absolutely. It's clustered, isn't it? There's high turnouts at every single game. I don't think there's very rarely a game that doesn't get below 100. Supporters going out to see him. You've got the travel that's not the travel isn't massive by any stretch of the imagination either. You've got teams reasonably located across Greater Manchester and Merseyside, with a couple of ones in kind of North Lancashire, and then one up in sort of mid-area Lancashire, which is Holker Old Boys, the strangers in the Kings of the North, if you like. And
I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how that pans out next season. Also, now because the allocations have been made, we should know in a couple to few weeks what the Liverpool County Premier League will consist of, because we're increasing from 12 to 16 teams. So it'll be interesting to see who our new comers are from those 4.
Absolutely.
Wherever they come from. We believe one might be FC Community.
The City of Liverpool.
Well, they've denied that they're anything to do with City of Liverpool.
Of course, they are.
We don't really know what's going on there, but we do know that the league are definitely going to be recruiting another 4 teams, because they told us, and it's public knowledge.
Okay.
So looking forward to our season as well. We'll talk about us later. But Daisy Hill, bit of an old story. So Daisy Hill have discovered recently that they have. No, it's a great story. It's a great story because it's part of the non-league quiz of the week. So anyway, they discovered recently that they have a new supporter called, wait for it, Daisy Hill. Now, she lives 300 miles away in Dundee.
So clearly a committed fan, then.
Well, she was a fan of Angry Ginge, I think, and this is how she found out that there was a football. She never realised that there was a football club called Daisy Hill. Now, because of the relationship now, her friends and family, at some stage, you're going to get a minibus or a coach, all the way down to Daisy Hill to watch Daisy Hill.
If it's 300 miles away, I would absolutely guarantee a train would be more appropriate.
Well, they might go down on the train, then. I don't know.
They've got a train station in West Horton. Should be fine.
Yeah, brilliant. So anyway, this got me thinking about other clubs, without looking at the list, by the way. Other clubs in the Northwest Counties that might have a potential supporter that carries the club's name. Can you name any, AJ?
anyone in the world that is called Nelson?
No, you can't. No, it's got to be a proper name.
Any clubs in the northwest counties that may have potential supporters carrying...
No, you can't look at the list.
Such a knob.
No, you can't, because I guessed it straight away. What I didn't...
I guessed it straight away.
What I didn't know was there any other teams. So listen, I'll narrow it down. There's only one.
Out of 62 teams.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know for a fact there's nobody called Skelmersdale United.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's got to be a double name, hasn't it, really?
Oh, it has to... Right,
yeah,
it has to be...
It's got to be a double.
Okay, right. Like their first, like Daisy Hill, something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be a and a.
Right. Jesus, wept.
Listen, you can have the same options you did last week's quiz. You can have a hint and a second hint.
I've won it already. Let's see. And you got it all straight away.
You got 5 points for this. And this will take you right to the top of the leaderboard again.
Oh, shut up.
Listen, I wasn't really interested in the Daisy Hill story itself, but I just actually, this is why I segued into this with the name of another person. I've actually Googled it as well. I've actually Facebooked it to see whether there was another woman named after the football club in the Northwest Counties.
So it's a woman?
Yeah, well, I'll give it up, haven't I now? Yeah,
no, you haven't give it up.
It's a woman.
Right,
a woman.
Okay.
Although it could be a man. No, it can't be. But then I've just thought of another one that could possibly be a name of a person, and it could be the name of a man. Although I think you can use the same name for a woman as well. So I'll give you this one. Thornton Cleveley's.
There's somebody called Thornton Cleveley's.
No, well, you know what? It's only just come to me now that there could be somebody called...
stop being so ridiculous.
Well,
who's called Thornton as a first name?
People call the kids Thornton. Believe it or not, Ezra, my grandson, possibly could have been called Thorn or Thornton. There you go. So anyway, starters for 5.
I'm not impressed.
So it's a woman.
It's Do
you want your first hint?
Yeah, fine.
Your first hint is in the Premier Division.
It's in the Premier Division. Right, okay. So who have we got in there? So they're not going to be called Ramsbottom.
Listen, you're only going to lose another point. So if I give you your second hint, you'll get it straight away. Do you want to take that risk?
No.
Take that. You get 3 points, you're still top of the leaderboard.
It doesn't matter. I want some dignity in this.
It is difficult, to be fair.
But then why
when you put on the spot? Well, it's not. If you'd have come to it straight away, I'd have thought, well, you know, how do we spend the next 10 minutes talking?
Yeah, exactly.
What can we talk about?
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to go through all the teams, like alphabetical and that.
Well, that was going to be my second hint.
Right.
You know what? You should have had it by now. That's another clue.
If
you've gone through the alphabet.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm still stuck on
B. You're on bloody Trafford, aren't you?
I'm on B at the minute. So I can only think of just Burscough just bouncing around in my head.
Listen, there's only a few teams that have got a second name, if you like. AFC Liverpool, Atherton LR, Barnoldswick Town, Charnock Richard, FC St Helens, FC Isle of Man, Glossop North End, Longridge Town, Prestwich Hayes, as you mentioned before, Ramsbottom United and South Liverpool.
Right, so it'll be Charnock Richard then.
No, it's not Charnock Richard. I'll tell you what though, that's another possibility as well. But no, having done my research, there was only one person that came up with the name.
Who?
Start off at the top.
Atherton LR?
No, so you've got the first one, then the second one is AFC Liverpool, and the third one is Atherton LR. There's only one other team with the letter A.
Abbey Hay.
Abbey Hay. And a Abbey Hay does exist. I don't know whether she's a porn star. But I don't know what you say. People say, don't they, with names like that? They could No, listen. I think what we need to do now is we need to find out where this Abby Hay is and get her lined up with the football club.
I don't know.
Isn't it Abby Hay that are looking for a new chairman?
They're certainly looking for a new manager because Simon Heaton left.
But where are they looking for a new... Oh, was that Main Road that were looking for a new management structure?
Main Road have been looking for a new chairman for about a year.
Yeah.
No, Abbey Hay are looking for a new pitch. They're trying to get the new weather pitch set up.
Yeah, well, she might be loaded. She might be loaded. She might want to take over. Just imagine being chairman of a football club. Abbey Hay. What's your name? Abbey Hay. Which club do you represent? Abbey Hay. No, I've already asked that question once. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting one anyway. And listen, they've milked it for all it's worth, haven't they, really? Days?
Yes,
you
know have.
What I mean? But, no, they have.
Well,
in terms of that's what...
They need
it's all
publicity.
About it's all about content, isn't it?
Is that what passes for content these days?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, listen, controversial corner. We'll skip the first bit because we've already mentioned it, the silly season and how non-league clubs suddenly decide to tell all the supporters that they've retained players, which is a load of bollocks. Anyway, so pitch hire costs. It's been a very, very controversial issue in Skelmersdale. I don't want to go too anal with this because this will sound as though we're just having a pop for the sake of having a pop. But listen, there is a relevance here. So their pitch hire costs now on an ad hoc basis are per hour. 5-a-side is £60, 7-a-side is £85, third of a pitch is £85, 9-a-side is £100, and the full pitch costs £220. Now, I've done sort of like comparisons right across the country and sort of in the north of the country, to be fair, and they are quite high on the high end. So when we were training at the JMO a couple of seasons ago, we were getting charged £48 up until the Christmas 2024. Then the turn of 2025, they increased it to £54, which was a 12.5% increase. There was no improvement in the JMO or the facilities whatsoever. So I felt really hard done to that they'd increased the rates by 12.5%. Now, what we do know is that they've relayed, but they put a new carpet on the south pitch. It's been well documented. Now, this is the pitch that originally we used to play on, which failed the FIFA bounce test. I don't know whether they've got a FIFA bounce tested, because they don't have to, really, because the teams that are playing on there, it just needs to be a bog standard FA licence.
Yep.
They've already played, so one assumes that they've already got that. So in terms of like for like, so we currently pay Ormskirk School £40 for a third of a pitch for an hour. So if you compare that to a third of a pitch at the JMO, that's £85. Now, when it originally come out, everybody was up in arms and said, "Oh, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
That's far too much."
Yeah, and then they came back and said, "Oh, hang on a minute, this is not for current customers. This is for ad hoc bookings, people that want to book
short term."
Yeah, but there's a little bit of sort of what would you call it?
Favouritism?
Ambiguity there.
Ambiguity. All right.
Because at some stage, these current people that are booking, they're going to get a rate hike themselves at some stage.
Yeah, I should imagine so. Yeah.
Have they been guaranteed it's going to be for the next year or for the next few months?
If you say so. I haven't heard anything to that effect, unfortunately. So I'll have to kind of defer to your judgment, that one.
Now, listen, one would assume that John Mallinson has spent hundreds of thousands of pounds to rectify the issues that they've had on the park. And for that reason, inevitably, someone has to pick up the tab for it. But that said, the price hike on the face of things appears to be really draconian, in my opinion.
In these times that we are facing, where there's a cost of living crisis going on,
yeah.
And I think it just seems like a really unfair way to price people. It's not even just like clubs. It's, your average group of fellas who just want to get together for a kickabout, and they're going to end up paying, anywhere between sort of £6 and £10 each to be able to do that for an hour.
Yeah,
it's a bit tight. That
I remember going back a few years ago when James was under 16 years of age. Him and his cousin, they used to go to the JMO. They used to pay £3 on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they used to play on there for as long as they wanted. They just paid £3. Now, I think it was reported the other week, wasn't it, that they, because of their public liability insurance, that kids couldn't go there now unless they were accompanied by the parents.
This is correct. Yes.
That's really we got to that stage in life now where we can't let kids enjoy themselves.
To be fair, we've had this done with actual clubs who say that supporters under 15 or 18 years of age cannot, attend without an adult present either. So yes, I think we are. I think there's just unruly behaviour coupled with rising insurance costs that mean that they can't be that easy on.
I think it's always been like that. I just think the difference. Well, no, it has. I think the difference is that a lot of people have turned a blind eye to it. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. In terms of safeguarding, I can understand the safeguarding issues, but a lot of these kids that were going down there were never going into the changing rooms.
No.
You know what I mean? So that wasn't. They were out in the open.
Yeah.
They'd come dressed in the kit and they'd walk away in the kit.
Okay.
And by and large, they'd be mixing with kids that they play at school. So if you, back in my time, we used to go to an open field on a Saturday and Sunday, and we used to get together and play football on an open field. But there was no safeguarding issues there.
No.
Because it's a business. Yeah, it makes a difference because of insurance.
Yeah. It
makes a difference. It's all sort of money orientated at the end of the day. But listen, so this is what the GMO went on to say. We'd like to apologise for any confusion caused by our new rate poster. Please note that these rates apply to ad hoc casual bookings only and do not affect any of our existing booking clients. We will also be amending the poster in reception to make this clearer for everyone moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your continued support and understanding. So the local councillors that are oversee the
Ella Worthington,
they're
newly elected.
They've cut in and they said that they're going to be having a sit down meeting with the JMO to discuss this pricing construct to see if they can make it more appeasable to the public. To make the JMO more useful for the masses, but I don't know. It's like ringing a taxi and having to face a double charge because you've only used them sparingly or never at all, or or getting a train ticket last minute.
Believe it or not, I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, or getting a train ticket last minute, rather than booking it 6 months in advance. These kind of open establishments should be prepared and inviting for ad hoc bookings. Nobody else charges peak pricing because they're doing it at the last minute. It's not fair. It's not right. Personally.
Which makes a case for even better for a proper community-run organisation, sports organisation, football field, leisure centre,
paddle courts.
Yeah, something that is run by the council and the community-led organisations within the town. Hopefully we'll be one of them when we come back.
Ideally, yeah. Still got a bit of work to do on that one, but we're making progress.
Yeah. So overall, bad move. I think it's a bit of a... You need to...
It's a bit of a middle finger to the town of Skem when that place has been a bit of a... It has been a community hub for ever such a long time, and just gradually it's either gone into a state of disrepair or it's gotten too big for its britches and just,
before Christmas, if you remember, they made an appeal to old and new customers to come back because they realised that they'd fell foul of the general public and they wanted to re-engage with the community. This seems that they've tried that. And listen, I have to reiterate, by the way, that when they did offer that olive branch, I asked whether that was extended to us. I'm still waiting for a call from Steve Tomlinson, who rang me on the 2nd of January, said he would ring by the end of the month or early February. He never did. So the invite to go back to the GMO never actually happened.
Materialised.
For us. And I just think that... I think it's a little bit of a...
Kicking the teeth.
Well, yeah, it is because you on one hand you're saying, listen, we're offering an olive branch, and the next minute you're kicking them back in the teeth and saying, listen, we're going to hike that up. And then there's rumours of all kinds of things. The Junior Football League is going to be huge hikes in charges and whatever. Listen, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, of course. There's just rumours at this stage.
That's not really our business. But, at the end of the day, whatever happens, wherever it happens, it's the parents. You imagine now having, 2 or 3 children in your family and trying to support their objectives of playing football.
And their interests.
And training there and...
Travelling to various different locations, football boots, shin pads, and kids grow as well.
But they're going to have to now. They've got no option if they want to go somewhere where the rates are more feasible. Then they'd have to go out to Scam. I see the likes of Ormskirk School getting a huge influx of bookings if they're not already sorted anyway. And of course, then there's Burscough Football Club. There will be a lot of local places that will benefit from these hikes. From
that kind of alienation.
But it's a bit of a from us. Yeah. Anyway, listen, we'll move on. Sad news, Stockport Town, they've resigned from the North West Counties Premier Division. They did that on Wednesday ahead of the league allocations, stating their lack of ability to sustain football at that level. A lot of people seem to be shocked. I'm not. And while there is a inevitable sadness surrounding Stockport Town's resignation, if their ultimate goal is to safeguard their legacy, then this has to be seen very much as a positive as far as I'm concerned. Let's hope it's true that they're going to stay in business, just as being the case for us, Scam United.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not, there's been multiple teams recently that have applied for relegation as well as resignation in order to safeguard their legacy. Brighouse Town voluntarily opted to resign from Step 4 and #United was one that we covered in more detail. They've asked for voluntary relegation from the Isthmian League in their own Step 4 as well, in order to safeguard their legacy. Again, it's another team who cannot seem to sustain the costs in non-league football at this day, and particularly with a very diluted area around them. So in Stockport, you've got Stockport Town, Stockport County and Stockport Georgians, all within that same town vying for competition, costings, etc. And that's when you look at just a little further afield in the area of Cheadle as well. You've got Cheadle Heath Nomads and Cheadle Town. So within that very small radius, you've got 5 teams at pro and semi-pro level who are trying to cut the mustard in amongst each other, and then make it county-wide as well. So,
and you can't really afford to let supporters push you into a position where it's not sustainable, can you? You really can't. You can't afford to be influenced by support. It's great to have ambition.
Yeah.
But you've got to measure that up with realism.
Yes, you do. Yeah, and that's always been a very fine balance at this level, particularly for teams that don't have deep pockets, don't have massive infrastructure, etc. Of which there are many. We talked to chairman before who have always said that balancing the books is the most important thing. The most prominent in recent guests was Trevor Abraham, the chairman of Cone, obviously a club with a very illustrious past during the 90s when they were very well bankrolled, but now they've got to settle for something slightly more pragmatic.
Yeah. Listen, if we had finished in the top 5, by the way, in the Liverpool County Prem, or Liverpool Premier League, whatever you want to call it now, and we'd managed to get into the North West Counties, we're part of those FA League allocations today. How would you have felt?
If our promotion had been confirmed and we were getting back in?
Yeah.
Excited. I'd be nothing but excited. I love the counties as a concept. I've been to most of the grounds in the North West Counties Division 1 North, season before this one as well. I was completely enamoured from the start. I loved the setups everywhere we went. The friends that we made, the bridges that we built. The football was disappointing, but everything outside of that. So I would have been really, really looking forward to next season to just be able to go on those journeys again.
I've thought about it sort of retrospectively, and I'm thinking to myself, Yes, it would have been nice. Would I have refused it 24 hours ago? My thought process was, no, you can't afford to refuse it. If it was a possibility, you couldn't refuse it. But now, having looked back on it, I'm quite happy that we've not been allocated.
Okay.
Because the fact that where we've finished positionally now suggests that we're not quite ready for the North West Counties.
Yeah, logistically, we'd have to have a big turnout.
Yeah, there is another way of looking at it, of course, that because if they increase the leagues next season,
we might have a backdoor entry.
We wouldn't have got relegated anyway. But I think maybe play our trade where we are, have another dose of what we've been handed and go again next season. But I think business head, this is what I'm saying, your business head though, does your business head say to you, it's a season too soon? To me it does.
Yes and no. I would hope very much that we've got a little bit of money in the bank, so we are quite solvent, we'll get money coming in as well from the gate. We're sure that the gate would have increased. Would have had to increase the pricing as well to kind of keep up with the general consensus of costing in the North West Counties. So that I think would have brought in a decent amount more money. I think we'd have had to not quite play it safe, but we'd have had to establish a budget to make ourselves a bit more competitive. Also bearing in mind that one of our biggest sponsors is public owned, so it's a bit more difficult to negotiate how we go from there.
Yeah, because that deal is very much based on the fact that we are ground sharing and it's helped towards those ground share costs. Listen, just another thing worth noting, going off the subject, but Rob Smethurst, who owns Macclesfield Town now, was formerly the owner of Stockport Town between 2017 and 2019 before he took control of Macclesfield. It was there in the recesses of my mind, but when I was looking at it today, it reminded me. But it just shows you there with big backing.
I think there's one team that we haven't mentioned as well, and I'd like to, and that's City of Liverpool. So City of Liverpool were relegated from the North West Counties Premier Division last season. They've not been allocated a place in any of the Step 6 leagues, having failed to find a appropriate ground share agreement or indeed ground at all before the March 31st deadline. They were also given an extension on that deadline to try and meet the necessary arrangements. That hasn't been done, so they'll be in Step 7 next season, so it looks very much like they'll be one of the teams in our 16-team division next season. If
indeed they're still in business.
If indeed
we don't know. There's no sound bites coming out from anywhere at all, and there hasn't been for months. No. In fact, a season. I mean, rumour has it that a new team's been set up.
In the wake of this.
Yeah, in the wake of this from... I said disgruntled or something like that, didn't I? Disenfranchised former members of the establishment at City of Liverpool have decided, well, listen, if we can't take over the run of the football club, we'll start on our own. Whether that's just pure speculation, I don't know.
Another diluted team in an already diluted city.
And a further speculation to that is that the fact that they'll be one of the 4 teams that will be joining us in the Liverpool County Premier League, which would be interesting if it is.
If it is that particular team, then we already know that they've got not a ground, but they've got a place to play their football next season.
Somebody said it's FC Community, but FC Community, somebody turned around and said we've already got a ground. So
yeah, they're in Admiral Park in Toxteth. That's what it says here. At the minute...
I thought they were a ladies' team.
Maybe. So I probably have to look at a bit more detail. But if it is who I think they are, then they've got their own ground. Yeah.
I mean, one rumour was that FC Community were related to City of Liverpool. They were like their Sunday version of the team. But if you look up on Wikipedia, not that you can believe it, all the time, but it does give the impression that there's 2 separate entities altogether. So we just have to assume that's the case. And unless anybody comes forward and tells us, you can inbox us, you can contact us on social media and let us know what the situation is, because we'd be interested to know.
Absolutely. So they've got, if it is this team, they've got a well-established ladies team. They've also got a junior section as well. So whether they're now established and moving into men's competitive football, that may be another kind of extension.
That might be their avenue.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, right. So they've got a men's first team trial day established. So there's something. It's fan owned and it's ready to build something brilliant. So that would suggest that there's something in that there.
I take it the ground that the ladies are currently playing on wouldn't be good enough for the Liverpool Premier League.
So that is, good enough. It's Wavertree Boulevard South, apparently. Whatever that means. But yeah, this full club is called FC Community of Liverpool. All right, so they last put out a statement on April 20th saying that they've got plans for a men's first team which will be competing in 26-27 season. They've applied to join the Liverpool County Premier League structure.
Oh, so it is true.
So it would be ours, yeah. The new men's arm will join Jay Maguire's FCC women's side, FC Community Club, and our existing youth structure to complete our three equal key pillars of the club: men, women and community. Okay. So they've already got a men's manager appointed, which is James Bush, and he'll be assisted by Liam Dickinson and Ronnie McCarthy. James has a UEFA B licence, currently has a foundation phase coach with a League One club. He's also had several years coaching at Step 4 in the non-league pyramid, well connected in the football community. Ronnie McCarthy was part of the Runcorn Linnets Counties Premier League division, and he's also played for Skem and Burscough. So yeah, there's some significant movements coming out of FC Community of Liverpool there.
And it was the other team that we think it's Formby, isn't it? That are going to be joining us as well. That's one of the others.
Formby is one. I think Netherley is the other one as well, who play in the conference. So they're 2 leagues below us, but they did just win the league and the League Cup as well. They completed a
So we're not too sure on the fourth team could possibly be. But listen, this is pure speculation, by the way. So we don't want Gary Bennett giving us a roasting, do we?
Giving us grief, no. So there's still like a long way to go before any decisions are made and anything is made concrete. We're just speculating at this point.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so that about rounds that up. In the second part of the show, we will be speaking to Gary Langley, who's the what would you describe him? He's a man of many roles.
He wears many hats. So he's the chairman of South Liverpool Football Club. He's also the league development director at the Northwest Counties, where he also sits on the safeguarding committee too.
Yeah, basically does everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just runs the Northwest Counties.
Yeah, and he used to run a podcast as well.
And he used to run a podcast, yes.
Yeah, look forward to listening to him
Brilliant.
In the second part of the show. See you then. Hello and welcome to the second part of the Speaking Frankly football show, and a very, very warm welcome to Gary Langley, who is the League Development Officer, Safeguarding Officer, Director and absolute know-it-all of the Northwest Counties Football League. A warm welcome to you, as well as being the Chairman of South Liverpool as well.
That's his LinkedIn profile all in one go, isn't it?
A man of many talents.
He wears lots of hats.
My email signature goes on for minutes. It takes minutes to read that. Hello, gents. How are we? Are we okay?
Oh, we're doing fine. We're... I don't know if we're reeling, we're shocked. I'm not sure how we feel at the minute. I mean, it's allocation day, so...
We're just hoping that you'll be able to unravel some of the mysteries surrounding the FA League allocations.
There will be some allegations as well.
Yeah, we definitely feel as though that will be the case. So first of all, I want to make it clear, because I think a few people get confused, that the Northwest Counties didn't make any of the decisions that were made today. That was all done by the FA, Gary, yeah.
Of course, yeah. And this is what we do every year. We have to fend off I think keyboard warriors is becoming a tired term, but you're coming across people who say, the Northwest Counties have made a boo-boo here and they've done this wrong and they made a pigs here that. Well, no, we haven't, because we are a league, so we operate a league format as part of the FA and the National League system. So we get allocated the clubs by a group called the FA Leagues Committee, who are a group of folk who sit around and then they calculate with their various criteria who goes where, why they should go there, what the outcomes of the playoffs are, and then they try and fit square pegs into square-ish holes, and then we come out with, in effect, what's happened today, where people like me have to get the fire extinguisher off the wall and put aim it at my phone.
Yeah.
So
it's fair to say, Gary, then, that you probably, if you were left to rule the allocations, you'd have done things in a slightly different manner.
I think so, yeah, but don't get me wrong, I don't envy the folks who have to do it, because somebody has to. But I'm sure, I'm a big fan of the podcast, by the way, and it has been documented on here before now, that, it doesn't always go to plan, but there are certain times where, you can't predict who's going to get promoted and relegated from a certain league, and then where you've got to put them. So there's only so many teams that you can put into a league, and for various reasons why, but yeah, stick a few little caveats into that with protocols, applications, and teams folding and so on. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that job right now. It would cause me palpitations. Yeah.
So listen, Gary, there's possibly 3 or 4 big talking points. The decrease in the size of the Premier Division, for starters, the increase in the Division 1 North, plus the inclusion of Flixton and Widnes. So let's start with the decrease in the size of the Premier League. It's been said that it's always been the aim of the FA to reduce the numbers at Step 5 down to 20 clubs. But was this a shock to you at this particular stage?
I was surprised, not necessarily shocked, because the FA have this vision of the perfect pyramid. Obviously, you know what it's like, Frank. You've got Step 1, the conference, then you've got Conference North and Conference South, and then it branches out from there. So, it goes from 1 division, then you've got 2 beneath that, then you've got 4 beneath that, 8 beneath that, and so on. And what the FA would like to see is 20 teams in each of those divisions across each of those steps, the so-called perfect pyramid, which is all well and good when teams in certain areas are getting promoted or being relegated into the right area. But sometimes too many teams from the same area get promoted and relegated, so they have to move teams across. Now, as for our 20-team division, I'm surprised, but this is the FA's vision. This is what they want. I'm surprised when I got a look at the structure of the division. I was surprised, but then again, there's formats and protocols as to and criteria, of course, as to why the FA allocates certain teams into certain leagues. So from a club perspective, from a South Liverpool perspective, we were made aware right at the start of the season at the Northwest Counties AGM. Paul Lawler stood up in front of everyone and said, fair warning, we've been given fair warning by the FA. All clubs are liable to lateral moves to suit. So you could have teams in so-called Northwest Counties footprint areas that you think are fine and dandy, but you could still end up going to Stourport the following season on a Tuesday night. Anything goes. So we kind of knew we were kind of on iffy grounds, because the season before, ourselves and City Liverpool FC had been provisionally placed in the Midlands League as well. It was only because of the fair grace of the Northwest Counties League chairman, who went into bat for us, saying that we could run with 24, that we got a bit of a reprieve. But we made a note of that, and we were like, oh, crikey. So we were kind of dreading it when it came out. And when you think about it, a Liverpool club in a league branded the Midlands League, that wouldn't be great. Although, of course, as it turns out, there's been some really interesting twists and turns with certain clubs being moved down there, which has been quite a shock.
Yeah. Listen, are you expecting any kind of kickback by the members in terms of those that might be worried about a downturn in gate revenue, bar and food takings, etc.?
Yeah, of course, yeah, because a lot of clubs have clubhouses and they have functions and so on, and without a game, the footfall just isn't there. But the FA's stated aim, and it's a public aim, they are aiming for this 20 clubs per league, and at the Northwest Counties, for the benefit of the listeners there, when there's a league management committee meeting, everything's transparent. Even communication emails, obviously Frank, AJ, you kind of be aware of the fact that even emails or correspondence are recorded and logged. So after the monthly meeting, the minutes of those meetings get circulated out to all clubs, and everything's there on the plate. So it's not a great secret that the FA only won 20 teams in each league. So how you fit 30 into 20, I don't know. And obviously something's had to give. I believe there might have been an offer there to try and run with more clubs, but the FA have spoken.
What would have happened if Stockport Town had stayed? Because, I mean, it was only, 24 hours ago when they said that they were pulling out?
I think if they would have stayed, obviously, as we've seen with Stockport Georgians, they've been moved into the Midlands League. It's entirely possible that Stockport Town would have gone, and then in turn, a club that's in the Midlands League that would have been on a board with perhaps the Hellenic League or the United Counties League. In turn, you get a shuffle. So you can move 2 clubs in the Northwest, and then by the time you shuffle them around the various Step 5 leagues, you could have an impact as far as where is Lincolnshire or even Essex, because clubs have to be shuffled around to accommodate it. So yeah, it's entirely possible that Stockport would have gone the same way as Georgians and Cheadletown as well.
I've not looked at the rest of the Step 5, but is Step 5 now completely right across the board, 20 teams?
There are a few little... There's a few little twists and turns. There's 1 or 2 that are running with 22, and there's 1 or 2 that are running with the likes of 18 or 19. But when you do the sums, there's a perfect number of Step 5 teams that are in there, yeah.
So it could have been possible Stockport Town could have been the 21st team in the Northwest Counties Premier as well?
Maybe, but you can argue a case for that for Cheadletown and for Stockport Georgians, whose efforts last season were entirely admirable. But if we'd have ran with 21, another might have ran with 19, because they would have had to fit in somewhere. And then if there was a local league running with 19 and the Northwest Counties running with 21, you get the same type of voices coming out. Well, why are they running with 21 and we've only got 19? So another club, as you say there, who are relying on a match day, are potentially missing out on a match day because the Northwest Counties are running with 21 teams.
And how difficult is it knowing that you're going to lose West Didsbury and Chorlton, because they've brought breath of fresh air to the league, haven't they?
Plus huge numbers of
West
following.
Didsbury and Chorlton have been... they're great. They are hipsters. They're
one of the nicest clubs in the league, aren't they? Without a shadow of a doubt.
But you know what, though? They're innovative as well. Every scheme that you can think of, they've got on the go. They've also got the what do they call them? The ultras behind the goal, and going on. They've got their own beer. They've got some really trendy food offerings, and they're a great club. But that said, they are a club kind of on a borderline. And it's a real shame to see them go. But when you look at maybe structures for next summer, who's not to say they'll come straight back? That they've got to play somewhere. It's a real shame, but particularly if you're a fan, you're going to miss the away day to West Didsbury. I love it. It cost me a fortune there because I'm buying the burrito and the trendy beer and so on, and I'm loving my day out. But that said, somebody else gets to enjoy that now for a season or 2 or 3, and who knows, West Didsbury might go down to the Midlands League and go and win it. It's not done any other clubs any harm, and this is what we've noticed with other clubs when they've been in the counties. I can cite maybe Emily, Campion as an example. When clubs go back out and they go back to their traditional footprint areas, they're stronger, they're harder, they're a bit more streetwise, and they do really well.
It's sometimes an easier route.
Maybe Congle's another example recently. They finally broke free of those shackles of North West Counties. I know they were gutted to go, but then they go and do really well.
Yeah.
Because they are a really hard and that is maybe testament to the quality of the North West Counties League as it is now. And also, it also says fair warning to the Midlands League, because I think they're running now with 11 former North West Counties Leagues club. That easy route isn't going to be so easy anymore, because you've got all these streetwise and savvy teams, all very capable of winning that league, all competing against each other.
We've mentioned the financial issues, but on another issue, really, it's going to be much harder for a lot of those clubs in the North West Counties Premier Division now to stave off relegation. Now, I know South Liverpool, I would assume as a chairman, you probably admit to the fact that you've been punching above your weight when you consider the calibre of teams that are up there. Does that worry you as a chairman? The prospect of there's less games, less chance of keeping yourself up. We always felt as though, I think, 18 teams
yes.
when we played in the North West Counties. We felt if there had been a few more games in there, we'd have had an opportunity of getting out of that relegation spot. Does that worry you as a chairman?
Do you know what? I think you've got to cut your cloth accordingly. So the challenge is there for sure, but we are a Step 5 club. And that appeals to certain player pools. And of course, our player pool might have just expanded, because you might have a certain amount of players from maybe the Warrington, Cheshire and South Manchester area who aren't necessarily fancy going to the Midlands every other weekend. So you have got to cut your cloth accordingly, and there are players about. And of course, let's be honest, we're all competitive. You know what it's like, Frank. When you're setting out your stall, even before the start of the season planning takes place, you're thinking to yourself, well, hold on, there might be some players there at clubs at Step 6 that might fancy that challenge. They might be on the same type of benefit, your bus fare and a packet of Space Raiders, for example. but they might fancy the challenge of going to different clubs and a higher step, and of course the FA Cup. You do have certain incentives at Step 5, and you do cut your cloth accordingly. But that said, you can only beat what's in front of you. And like ourselves, Frank, you go out there, you recruit, you bring your coaching staff in, you set your budget line, and then you say, right, run with it. Let's see where we go. And then you kind of know, you kind of get a feeling after 3 or 4 months if you're going to be all right or not. But, you can always take action accordingly. What would have been interesting for us as well, had we have gone up, that would have caused us a different headache as well. Because at one point we were kind of in the mix. And we didn't want to talk about it too much. We were thinking, oh, Christ, there's $2,000 for another turnstile. You've got to put more seats in. So again, money.
Yeah.
It's money if you're successful. It's a money problem if you go down. There's a money issue if you get laterally moved. So there's always going to be a challenge there. For us at South, because of our history, it's all about the club. Protect the club first. If whatever level we're playing at, of course you want to be successful. But protect the club first, because that club's there as a community asset. It's a community facility. It gives players a chance to play football. You've got your player pathway of players coming through maybe youth teams or development teams. That's their opportunity. And it's people's recreation on a Saturday afternoon. If you're doing well, brilliant. If you're not doing so well, you lose 20, 30, 40 off your gate. And then, you have a rough season, you have a crap summer holiday, and then you go again.
Yeah, and listen, you probably heard us mention on numerous occasions about teams that find their natural level. So in terms of, it's going to be a little bit more difficult with less games, but if ultimately a club does get relegated, because they're always going to get relegated anyway, regardless of the numbers.
Yeah, I think so, because the FA also makes it clear that if you finish bottom of the league, you're going to get relegated. And I think Hormond have found that out, and of course Main Road, gutted for Main Road. But that said, if you finish bottom, you can expect to be relegated. If you finish second bottom, it's squeaky bum time. If you finish third bottom, you can be fairly chilled about it. But you still can't plan too far ahead, especially in the current era. But if you finish bottom, you're always liable for the drop. And I remember a few years ago, John McKiernan, who was chairman at St Helens Town at the time, had just been relegated out of the Premier Division. And of course, at the AGM, clubs get a chance to speak. And I think St Helens were again on a sticky wicket. And John spoke very eloquently. He said, if you finish bottom, you can have no complaints about getting relegated or not getting a reprieve, because it's a game, it's a sport. You do stuff on the pitch. Behind the scenes, you can cut your cloth accordingly. But if you finish bottom, you can't complain, because there's a better team just beneath you deserving of their chance to come up.
Yeah, listen, I might go to war with you slightly later on in the show on that particular question, but AJ's got a question for you for now.
Sorry.
By the way, AJ.
I suppose for me the biggest shock was the increase in clubs in Division 1 North. Obviously they've moved now from 18 teams last year to 22 this year. Does this provide the league fixture secretary with a logistical nightmare? And would the league have preferred to just keep it to 20 teams in the both North and the South?
Oh, it's an interesting one, that, AJ. I mean, in all fairness, said fixtures secretary has now been relieved of the burden of planning for the 2014 Premier Division. So, it swings and roundabouts, so it does balance it out a wee bit, as you say. I remember back in the day, around about 2014-15, when I started getting involved with the counties, we were running with a 17-team single Division 1, and I think it was an 18-team Premier Division. We had gaps, we had vacancies in the league. It wasn't very competitive, and it was really hard to relegate anyone. And I was quite shocked when a club called Rochdale Town, formerly Castle to Gabriel's, they actually went. I was like, you can't get rid of a team. We need the numbers. But that said, that kind of spurred us on. We were thinking, well, do you know what? There are a lot of teams about who could come up. How can we make this happen? So we kind of did some moves and shakes, and then we kind of saw what the options were. And it was at a time where the FA themselves had similar ideas about looking to expand. So we were the perfect vehicle for that. So, yeah, it's great to run with 22 teams. But also, I think coming up next summer, so 2027, there's talks about additional Step 6 divisions coming in around the pyramid. So maybe this might have half an eye on that already. So maybe that's not too surprising. It's still not great for Hormond and Main Road. But that said, the line was there for relegation. But we have had reprieves, and maybe that is with a view to 2027-28.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, that was our next question.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, because it's sort of not piloted, but there was a lot of collaboration between the counties and the Midland League as regards to that. So, from your sort of knowledge, is that kind of concrete initiative that's then going to be set into motion?
The additional divisions are coming. Whether or not we get one, we don't officially know. Unofficially, it makes sense, because when you look at where the gaps are, you could argue a case for one. But that said, we're running with a Division 1 South, which is almost, if that was named the Midlands League Division 1 North, it would look out of place. So if we get an additional Step 6 division, what options are there? If you're the FA, it doesn't matter whether we're named the Starbar League, the Mars League, and the Midlands League is the State Pie League and the whatever league. We are subconsciously branded by our regions. So we have the North West Counties League, and you've got the Midlands League, and primarily that's the cause of a lot of angst. Because people think, oh, well, why have you got a Manchester team in the Midlands League? But if it was the State Pie League, and you've just got a team moving from the Starbar League to the State Pie League, you're not really any the wiser, because you can kind of almost justify in your head, well, hold on, they're doing that to try and make up the numbers and to fill the gaps. But because we are the North West Counties League, people expect North West teams to be in there, and it's a shock when they're not.
I must admit I'm a little bit partial to a Starbar. So I love your terminology. I love the word.
Are you diabetic, Frank?
Yeah, I'm diabetic, but every now and then a Starbar's lovely.
I could have gone all Latin and said, I could have come up with Latin names and Greek god names for the league.
Yeah, well, they understand Starbar.
But no, man of the people, man. I love the undertone saltiness of the Star Bar. It just kicks in.
Yeah, listen, you know, in terms of those increases from 17 to 24, so that how many Step 6 leagues are there currently now?
I think we're running 17 or 18.
Oh, no, it's got to be 17, doesn't it? 17 leagues, so we go from 17 to 24. There's no guarantee that the Northwest counties will get an extra.
There's no guarantee, but when you look at representation around the regions,
it's more than
especially
likely.
with county feeder leagues as well, it would make sense. But then again, when you work on the premise of the FA's perfect pyramid, that's one hell of a foundation for that pyramid. You know, it could potentially marginalise promotion opportunities because you've got so many divisions then looking for promotion. So whereas we have promotion plus playoffs, there's no point in promoting too many sides because there's nowhere for them to go. So that's where also you look at the logistics and operations of a league. So, you might need to start thinking of, well, do you give league systems a bit of autonomy there to increase promotion and relegation numbers if you can get clubs on side with that? Well, it's really difficult as a league operation to try and fit in with FA rules, the dreaded FA brackets, league guidance as well, because we've got a fairly tight set of league rules ourselves on top of the FA stuff, and it's hard to fit in with that, but also to give clubs a competitive platform to play in.
No, I get you. I suppose speaking from a Step 7 perspective here, we'd be one of the teams that would be in a position to kind of make that transition back into Step 6, and there's only one other team in our league that would be able to accomplish that. Do you think that by having that extra league within the Northwest Counties set up, do you reckon that kind of increases the gap between Step 7 clubs looking to make that transition into Step 6 because the demands for proper grounding is there?
Or does this solve the problem?
Well, maybe it does. Maybe it creates a different type of problem. So you could end up with a number of teams finishing in Step 5 who are playing on rented hubs that they've got second or third call on. And that's a shame for the clubs who are competitive. So they could be competing for nothing because they can't go up. But also, it does make it more reasonable for clubs like Skem, maybe St Helens Town and others who arguably should have a really, really fair shout of staying in the league in the first place. But obviously, for whatever reason, I've dropped out. But then again, that's a different argument. You look at how they do things in Wales, it's a completely different system. And we're not going to go down there with licensing and compliance, although that is going to be on the horizon at some point over the next 2 or 3 years, but it's not right now. But that said, it does give clubs an opportunity with more Step 6 divisions. There's more opportunity to go up. And if you finish top 5, you're going to go up anyway if you've got a reasonable ground and that lease. And maybe with this sea change of additional places, it might be top 7 or 8. You're in with a shout. Anyone's in with a shout. But that said...
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah,
is that how it will? Sorry, I was just going to say, is that how it would be determined? Would it be steps, the sort of top 7 in Step 7, or would you sort of be cherry picking?
You can't, because then you're going against competition guidelines, aren't you? And that's where you start talking about things like licensing and compliance. And I remember many moons ago, Flint Town at the time were desperate to try and get this licensing, so I was giving them a wee bit out of hand at the time. And it was sad that it wasn't just about football over how you get promoted. And the mentality of those clubs must be, well, do you know what, we've not got a TV gantry and we've not got a first aid block, so we're screwed. So we can win this league but we won't go up, so what's the point? Yeah. We don't want to go down that road, I think. But that said, where do you sacrifice safety and ground compliance for success and promotion? It's a very fine line. And you have got to have, in my opinion, a line where you make that difference, that incentive to go and make your facility safe, appealing and compliant, because people just don't want to turn up at some ramshackle glorified park with kids playing football in the background, the ball going on the pitch, dog mess on the park, and maybe leaning against a set of railings that are going to collapse when two people lean on them. You've got to have a certain amount of safety standards.
I think we've been to one or two of them places this season.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not great for fans. I mean, it's great for fans to see their traditional team that have been playing regional football for many, many moons go up. But that said, they're going to go to grounds which are very nice grounds, which are very safe grounds, but then also you might have people coming there and aren't very happy or maybe not even safe. So it's how you do it. It would be good to cherry pick, and the way around that, with a cynical head on, we just pretend that I'm not a chairman or involved with the league. But you could bring in licensing, and then you could pretty much steer clubs towards your licensing arrangements and say, Langley FC. There is actually a Langley FC, by the way. But anyway, Langley FC. Do you know that if you put this railing in, you'd actually be compliant with our grade for getting into this league? So listen, have 2 or 3 promotions on us. Welcome aboard, my friends. You could, in theory, do that. And then where's the competition? Where's the spirit of the game as such, which we in non-league pride ourselves on, of having that competitive spirit, the banter, the competition. And that's what the North West Counties has been over many, many years, since 1982. It's a competitive league with clubs. If you're successful, you get rewarded. If you're not successful, you have a bit of a difficult spring and summer.
Yeah, listen, I think it's highly regarded as the best Step 5, Step 6 league in the country. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But in terms of people, we get like sort of 9 months grace when you get promoted into a division to get your facilities up to speed. Those people that have put the money into the infrastructure and that there's a possibility of them getting relegated straight back down. There's no safety net for them at all, is there?
No, there isn't, and that's that's the potential risk. And then what do you do when you go down? Do you mope and then or do you have a go for it? And St Helens Town again, prime example of a team that's been relegated, and he kind of lost the feet a wee bit. And I turned me back for 5 minutes. I look back, and they're playing in 2nd or 3rd tier of county football. Yeah. I was gutted for them that they kind of lost the way a wee bit. Whereas with a little bit of planning, then I've always said you can kind of kick your way back in. Ashton Town a few years ago, when they got relegated, they didn't sit and mope about it. They got their heads together. They got a plan. They brought a few decent players in, and they brought a few players in from the level that they were going into, and they went and did what they needed to do to get up. They didn't set the world on fire. They did what they had to do to get up, instead of sitting around moping. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where you've got to look at it. And then you look at clubs now, and I'm sure we'll get on to new clubs in a minute. There is possibly a loophole and a grey area there, which it does need looking at. But that said, it's a difficult one. For me, success should always be won on the field. Go for it, finish top 5, bask in the glory of it. Wait for days like today where the entire non-league system goes nuts for the day, and then you end up with phones going on fire. And then you can enjoy that day. You go on all your socials, you say, listen, sponsors, thanks for all your backing over X amount of years. Look where we are now. Thank you very much. And we do that at Southern. I'm sure other clubs do it. Listen, great, we're still at this step. Without our sponsors, our supporters, all these supporters who pay their £5, £6, £7, £8 every other Saturday, without your help, we wouldn't be here. We're good to go again. But then you've got new ventures, and then you just don't know what you're going to get.
No,
that's fair. I suppose on the flip side of it, though, is the difficulty that you face when you do go down. And I suppose the team that kind of springs to mind at the minute is Hormond, because of the 2 first division clubs within the counties. Hormond were the team that didn't finish bottom due to Wolverhampton Sporting Community withdraw, but they were still relegated from the first division south. Do you reckon that they have a right to feel a little bit aggrieved, considering that they finished bottom but not technically bottom and were still relegated, and seeing the influx of lateral moved teams coming into the Division South?
There could be another way of phrasing that question of, did Hormond want to be relegated if they finish in that position because of logistical arrangements. So if Hormond wanted a reprieve, they could have had a case for it. But I think they are okay with what's happened with that. I don't think that's a trade. I don't think that's a commercial risk or a trade secret or one of the one of the issues that maybe doomed County's podcast back in the day about allegedly letting out club secrets. I think Hormond have really struggled.
So it's not exactly Spygate.
No, I don't think it is. I think they're just going to regroup and then they'll come back stronger. I think that they found the counties a particularly tough challenge. Arguably, had they gone into the Midland League Division 1, they might have been able to be a wee bit more competitive. But, there's not a gimme. It's a tough league. But, I mean, they came in, I remember, really early season, went down to Hormond to say hello, as we do, as league... As league folk, we go down there, we always loiter, we get a brew, we offer a hand, we say, listen, do you need a hand with anything? We'll do anything from a system with the books, a system with the gate. We've done that before now, selling raffle tickets. Listen, ask us anything, stupid question, not a problem, ask us. And I went down there early season, and I think they were playing Runcorn Town, and Runcorn Town steamrolled them. They were second everywhere on the pitch. Lovely setup. It's actually quite a decent setup for what it is. It's like I don't know if you've been there yet, gents, but no. It's a cage ground in a recess on Shrewsbury Sports Village. So you have to go down a set of steps. It's kind of detached from the main block. It's a nice enough facility. It's just enough essential parts. Not so great on a Tuesday in October or November. When it's lashing down, but it's enough. It's enough to get you in.
Is it a bit like Stafford Town?
It's a little bit less than Stafford Town by way of pitch side facilities, because obviously at Stafford they've got a reasonable-ish stand there, haven't they? Whereas at Hormond it's just enough. It's similar but different. But yeah, I think Hormond struggled, and I think that they would have arguably had a good case because of obviously with Wolverhampton Sporting going, that in effect is your one guaranteed relegation spot.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Not a problem, you can breathe out a wee bit. But I think that they'll regroup, they'll come back stronger. Who knows, they might come back to the counties, or they might go into the Midlands League or wherever. You look at Shelley Community, who've kind of dipped in and out a couple of times. There's a right time and there's a right structure to have when you come in.
Yeah. Listen, which leads me to what is probably the most contentious issue from a sort of chairman's perspective. And listen, I totally agree with what you said. If you finish bottom, you should anticipate being relegated, and then you have to take your medicine accordingly. But obviously, Flixton and Widnes have got back into the counties. I've nothing against them because they've applied and the FA has accepted them. I accept that myself. But from my club's perspective, I would like to know, had we voluntarily closed down at the end of last season and did what Widnes did at the end of the 24-25 season, could we have reapplied to join the counties had we gone down the same path?
Where's that spotlight just come from? Right. Let me try and think of a way of answering this one. Technically speaking, the FA guidance are there. But in order to, when you say close down, you would have ended officially a large amount of history and heritage of Skelmersdale United Football Club, which I know, obviously, you two guys are uber passionate about that club. It runs through your veins. Yeah. Would you have really wanted to do that for what could have been deemed a fairly safe bet to get back in? You two wouldn't. No,
I certainly wouldn't have. So yeah, you've answered that in part. But I feel when I say people feel aggrieved, I'm basically talking about Main Road right now. They will feel extremely aggrieved because they've been replaced by a team that has technically not been in existence for over, is it 15, 16 years?
Yeah, Flixton 2013, I think they folded. Maybe in 2012, something like that.
Yeah. Now this is where you've got to go in absolute depths of FA rules about applying for a certain step. And these two clubs aren't the only ones who have done this, by the way. You think back to recent memory, there are other clubs.
FC United and Manchester.
Yeah. You can argue a case for Macclesfield. You can argue a case City of Liverpool. There are other clubs who can apply, and they do so. That there's various protocols and criteria for it. So without me boring your esteemed listenership with rules and regs, I'll try and dress it up in a way where it's straightforward enough.
Brilliant.
Flixton, good facility, good fan base. All the paperwork is done. They've done due diligence on their accounts. They applied to get back in, but they missed the deadline last time round. So their choice was, do we sit in our thumbs, get everything spick and span, and then apply on the off chance? Or do we show the FA and the North West counties that we are worth a submission and get our house in order? They played games. Their pitch is spot on. The facilities at Valley Road had seen better times because obviously they've barely been used over recent years. I remember going to watch Flixton back in the day, and even then it weren't great, but it was open, it was functional. It had kind of gone into a wee bit of a state of disrepair. So as an entity, it's still the same Flixton Football Club, yes. But because of certain behind-the-scenes criteria by way of financial management, by operational management and club structure, they had problems back in the day. That had all been rectified, taken care of, all the legality taken care of. They made an application based on, well, we've got this good facility here. We are going to have biggest crowds. If we go into a county feeder league, those crowds are going to cause chaos if we go to some of the not adapted hubs or to some of the more sparse facilities. So there's a safety risk.
Yeah, but in terms, what are we talking? Sorry to interrupt there, Gary. But in terms of numbers, I mean, I remember Flixton of old, and they weren't really particularly well supported then. I know they've got decent financial backing now through an American businessman, so everything looks sound from that perspective. But what kind of crowds are we talking about?
I think in some of their friendlies they've been getting 300 or 400, Frank. So when you look at that, if you were to stick those 300 or 400 on a cage in South Manchester, that it could cause a health and safety issue. So where's the right place to put them? I mean, even go back, I can remember 2008 AFC Liverpool at the time. They had 1,000 members. You can't go and stick them playing on a local park because you're going to have upwards of gates of 500, 600, 700 people with flares, maybe drinking, maybe running around, larking around, encroaching on the pitch, making it difficult for that game to be played. Flixton, if you've got 300 or 400, that can still make a difference. They may well start off with 150 or 200 regulars, but that's still a lot. So they put a case forward. We as a league did due diligence. We went through paperwork. We spoke with them. We said, right, what are your aims? What are your objectives? What are you providing for your community? Are you going to benefit the league? Tick, tick, tick. Absolutely. We had a good conversation with them. All paperwork was brilliant. They are a good club. They'll be an asset to the North West Counties League. And that's not saying that Skem won't be when you come back. I'm just saying that Flixton right now, in that time, that place, we're a good bet.
I totally agree with you, by the way. I think they're going to be a breath of fresh air to the league. This backing that they've got from this, what is he, investor?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not entirely sure. The dealings that we've had, obviously they had a very good business plan as well, and we went through that with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah, it's great. They'll do okay. But they're not going to come in and buy the league. They're coming in to be a community-based football club Of course, they want to be competitive, but they're not going to come in and throw silly money at it.
Well,
they're
listen,
going to have a
hang
go.
on a minute. If you listen to the gossip right now, Lewis Baird is supposed to be signing for Flixton and on £600 a week, according to rumours.
I'm sure he's just a lad who has got family ties with Flixton, wants to play on a pitch that is absolutely pristine, and would probably play for 20 quid. I mean, irrespective of the money, I can't go into that. I mean, we know that there's clubs in certain leagues around the UK that will pay handsome money. Doesn't guarantee your success. Although, in all fairness, with the aforementioned name player, you've probably got a chance. But that said, you can buy your way out of certain leagues. I think Flixton's business plan is aiming for success. But when you look at the other thing, they're getting all the key components in. They're developing players. They're opening up the facility for the community. They're putting on events. And they're giving kids a chance to play football. Every box ticked. That's what it should be.
Like I say, I've got nothing against them at all, but Widnes is a slightly different story.
Yeah, I don't know much. We as a league didn't know much about Widnes. We knew they were coming because they've had a strong social media presence. So we knew that they were going to be putting an application in, but they did slightly different. They went through the FA, which they're entitled to do. So whereas Flixton, we met with Flixton at our league HQ, and we had a really good session with several high-ranking representatives of Flixton. They brought in crates of paperwork and reference material. So by the end of the sessions, we knew what Flixton were, we knew who Flixton were, we knew what they were. With this, they applied directly through the FA. Now, don't ask me if they've applied as a Phoenix club, a legacy club, a new club, or I don't know what other
a nightclub.
Yeah, a nightclub. I couldn't tell you. Fair play to them, they've got in. Their business plan must have been okay. But then again, we don't know much about them. And it's difficult because obviously they announced they had a bit of foresight and vision to appoint Paul McNally as a manager even before they got a nod that they got into the National League system. So how that worked out for Paul by way of planning and speaking to players that he knows and trying to get arrangements in place, you just don't know because there's no guarantee. So obviously we were a little bit wary of it because we didn't really know. And then when we got the league allocations through, because we'd seen, I think like everyone else does, you look at social media and think, oh crikey, they want to go in as step 5 and they don't really want to upset another club by taking their place. But you know, they've got they're saying that they're aiming for success and so on. And you're thinking, crikey, that's one hell of a statement. And then you start thinking, okay, well, what's it all about? And then you start doing your homework and there's not that much out there. So they are a bit of a, they are a complete new entity. I don't know. I don't know much about them.
I don't think they know which way to describe themselves at the moment. Not that they've probably done us a great favour, really, because one would imagine that they could have possibly been in the Liverpool Premier League. I would imagine they'd have probably gone to the Cheshire League before then, but you never know. There's a possibility they could have been joining us.
Do you know what, Frank? We just didn't know, because obviously we're quite a tight group at the league. We kind of have a little bit of a foresight and vision over who could and who could be with us. And with this, we just didn't know. We thought, you know, at one point, well, they could go into the top level of the Cheshire League. That would kind of make sense. But we don't even know what crowd they've been getting. They've not played a friendly or anything like that. They had a meeting at the ground, and the only pic I've seen of that is of a group of ultras or young lads saying, they're back in the bid and so on. Great, but there could have been 600 other people in that room, but we don't know. There could have been 6. I just don't know. I wish them well, and I'm looking forward to going to visit them, and I'm intrigued as to the actual setup of the club, and I'm sure now that they know that they're in, we'll find out more about what their committee structure is, or their board structure, and what their entity is, and so on. But yeah, 2 very different applications.
Yeah. Listen, I do wish them the very best myself. I mean, listen, it'll make it'll make the podcast a hell of a lot more interesting next season. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But listen, one thing I did want to mention was Kendal Town, because they reported that their travelling costs had increased by 16,000 when they were laterally moved to the Northern League a couple of seasons ago. It certainly doesn't feel right to me. And their chairman, Michael O'Neill, is feeling a sense of loss about their latest appeal being rejected. And one would assume that West Didsbury and Chiltern will obviously be feeling the same way, as it's happened to them as well now. How much impact does this have on the league as well as the clubs? And how hard can the North West Counties Football League fight on their behalf when things don't go right for them?
Now, this is where we've got to be careful as a business and as a football league. If we go into battle for a business, because our football clubs at our level, we are businesses. We are vying for the same trade as other clubs in a similar region. We're all vying for the footfall through the door. We're vying for the same players. We're vying for the same amount of access and success. Mm-hmm. Kendal Town applied for a move across. They put their case to the FA. We couldn't really get involved too much in that appeal because they are a Northern League club. If we upset the Northern League, all leagues have good relationships. Yeah. We can't be seen to trying to be ripping out a good club, because obviously it's a great club, well positioned, well ran, great place to be, especially in the summer. But we can't say to the Northern League, well, listen, that's a cracking club, we'll have them. We've got no right to do that. Mm-hmm. But Kendal Town, as a business, as a football club operation, they've got to do what they've got to do. And we've seen it around the country where some clubs have actually gone to extreme measures. The likes of Mousehole in Cornwall, and there's other clubs who have taken voluntary relegations because it's not sustainable at the level that they're playing at. Kendal Town, if you were a businessman, if you were a cold-hearted businessman, and you could say, well, they're having losses here, there and everywhere, you can say, well, you could argue a case for, well, it's not sustainable at that level, they might have to drop. If you were a football fan, a studier of the game, a ground hopper, somebody who has their heart involved in it, you would say, yeah, let's bring Kendal Town over. It might shunt another team further south out to the Midlands League, but then who do you feel more sorry for? Do you feel sorry for the team that's just been shunted into the Midlands League, or do you feel more relieved at the fact that we got Kendal Town back? The
swings and roundabouts together, I think.
Exactly, Frank. It's the full spectrum of emotion. We, as a league, and that's one of our strengths, we let clubs and businesses get on with what they've got to do, but we will always support them. When you're in North West Counties side, or when you're applying to come into the counties, we'll give you ground advisory visits for free. We will parachute people in. We'll go and say hello. You can come and see us. We'll tell you how this, that and t'other works when the season starts. Don't be surprised to see yours truly, or John Deal, or Jeff Wilkinson, or the esteemed Martin Fallon rook up her game, try and sell you a raffle ticket, because we're there to help. Yeah. And we will feel stupid questions. But where you feel sorry for Kendal Town not getting the move across, you feel relieved for maybe another club in South Manchester, or even, dare I say it, South Liverpool, who have just dodged a bullet and been shunted into the Midlands League because Kendal Town aren't in the counties.
Yeah, listen, you've answered all those questions extremely eloquently, and I think it's about time that we had somebody on the show like you to explain this as best as good as you have done, to be perfectly honest with. But listen, just before we leave you, let's talk about South Liverpool for 1 minute. You managed to win the playoff finals the season before last, it was, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
it was, yeah.
So you've had a fantastic season in the Premier Division. Is it two seasons in the Premier Division now? I can't remember. Is it 2 seasons now?
Yeah, I think it's 2 seasons ago, yeah, because we just about avoided the drop the season before the one that's just finished.
That's right, yeah.
And this season we finished 16th. So, yeah, it was, time flies when you're having fun.
So with your North West Counties head on and your chairman's head on, how's it felt for you?
it was a roller coaster in the promotion. I mean, obviously, you and I know Jimmy Stanway, club secretary. He's been at South Liverpool since about 1923.
Right.
When we got promoted, his club secretary head was on, and he was like, "Oh no, how do we pay for all this?" And it was great. Meanwhile, I'm behind the goal, having dropped to my knees, thinking, "Oh Christ, a penalty shootout! What a nightmare!" It was great fun. But yeah, the history of South Liverpool is wide and varied and well documented and so on, and it's not a club that's been without its troubles. We lost our ground back in '91. It wasn't so well ran at the time, but a group of diehards kept it going. They kept that spirit going for a season by running a kids team just to keep the name going and to keep that FA affiliation going, and then bang back. But then they didn't take the step up for a long time, and it was only when clubs like Lower Breck, Little and Remica, and other clubs were paving and blazing the trail through that South thought, you know what, we should really be there. And then obviously we got in, and then we subsequently got promoted as well. It's a great bunch of lads. It's a group of friends. Martin Ryman, manager, he's been there since about 1945, and he'll never leave, by the way, so I've already told him. But that said, it's a group of friends, and that group of friends evolves and regenerates, and then the next group of friends are currently waiting in our under-23s and our under-17s. They're the future. But by way of being competitive in the North West Counties League Premier Division, we've held our own. You can in Division 1, you can get yourself out of that by playing a certain type of football. You can kick it a little bit. You can play a little bit more direct. In the Premier Division, you've got to play a bit of football, and we found that a little bit difficult because some of these lads played for South in the West Cheshire League, and then you're trying to say to them, listen, you've got to play about 15 passes here before we can have a crack at goal. They're like, no, sod that, gaffer, boof, ball's gone. And then you're trying to... We were very polite when we first came in. We thought, oh, this is going to be nice and eloquent. Players are going to shake hands when there's been a foul and so on. Now, some players are going to charge into like a bull in a china shop and try and then feign injury and have a go at the ref. They're going to be pecking the ref's head. It's proper hard football.
Yeah.
And I think we've adapted well. We've cut our cloth accordingly. At one point last season, we were kind of 7th or 8th, and we were thinking, so what do we do now? Do we go and push on? Do we have a go for it? We kind of let it go a little bit. We thought, you know what, let's see what we can do. But of course, you know what a football season's like, Frank. AJ, you've seen it yourself. At the start of the season, everyone's got the same hopes and dreams and ambitions.
And then somebody piddles on your chips.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to win the FA Cup. We're going to win this. We're going to do that. We're going to go challenge for this. When in reality, mid-tables do. But then you start getting towards the winter. Even right at the summer, your squad's not accurate because you've got a lot of lads going to music festivals. That's the thing you have to worry about at our level. You've got your lads are in Benidorm, your lads are at music festivals, so your squad doesn't really settle until back end of September, October. Then you kind of know where you're at. And then you get to Christmas, and if you're still in the mix, then you've got a decision to make. Do we try and find another 20p and a bag of Whatsits down the back of the sofa and give that to the manager? Or do we just say, well, listen, let's try and avoid the drop, let's consolidate, and then we go again. And let's try and bring a few players through as well whilst we're at it.
Yeah. Listen, we had one or two players like that last season, didn't we, that went missing?
Yeah.
They were sort of walking up and down the catwalks of Milan and Paris, so we missed them from time to time. But yet you've got all of those things to worry about.
That's the beauty of it, Frank.
It is.
That's one of the joys of non-league football. You don't know what squad you've got, and obviously for supporters who and even volunteers who don't know what it's like. When you're trying to run a club and you're trying to get all these logistics in place, you're having to deal with crap. Creamfields is coming up. That's half the squad gone. Now what do we do here?
Yeah. Listen, could I just quickly say we need to get back on get you back on the show just to specifically talk about South Liverpool at some stage. But the one thing I do talk about people often about Skelmer United Football Club and protecting the legacy, I do actually mention South Liverpool and the fact that there's a lot of people that have protected the legacy of South Liverpool. And South Liverpool had a great reputation back in the day. and we certainly aspire to follow your path back into the Northwest Counties.
Well, it's 95 years old. It's got a hell of a legacy that it's been built on.
Yeah.
Former Welsh Cup winners, let's not forget, 1939. I wish I was there, but sadly I was otherwise engaged. So it's not at the time. Yeah. But that said, clubs like ours, South, Skem, St Helens, and there's other clubs who are kind of out of the picture a wee bit, but we don't go away. We're still there for the supporters, and we always will be. But it's always nice to get that stage for a club, and I think our clubs all kind of deserve to be on a certain stage, providing that facility, providing that joy or absolute despair every other Saturday. Yeah. And I think that's the joy of being involved in non-league. And I think, even from our respective club volunteers, those club volunteers would rather not be anywhere else in the world than at our game every other Saturday when it's lashing down, it's windy and so on. That's their place to be, because it's so much more than just a game of football. It's about being part of a club. It's about being part of something, and that's what we're all doing it for, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, and that's an absolutely magic way of finishing the show, Gary. Listen, thanks very much for coming on the show. I'm sure it'll allay one or two fears and answer an awful lot of questions about the FA League allocations. I think it needed to be done, and I'm grateful for you to coming on the show and explaining it all. Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, take care now. Thanks to a fine interview from Gary Langley there. That has explained everything so precise. Now I understand a little bit more about the league allocations. Thank you very much, Gary. We're going to move on to Phil Stafford now, who's taken the reins of Burscough FC. So we'll go straight into that interview, and then at the end of that we'll talk about Skelmersdale United Football Club. Hello and welcome to the third part of the Speaking Frankly Football Show, and a very, very warm welcome to the new manager of Burscough Football Club, none other than Phil Stafford. Welcome to the show, Phil.
Oh, cheers, gents. Thank you very much for having me.
No, not at all. It's our pleasure. I think you mentioned it briefly before we went live. It's actually been a bit of a whirlwind, not just this week, but in the last few weeks. You won the Macron Cup and then got the approach from Burscough. The latter being an issue you weren't necessarily expecting to deal with. But how did it feel when the call came through from Burscough?
It was on cloud nine, and then all of a sudden you're getting a phone call off a club like Burscough to ask you to take over the reins there, and it was unbelievable, to be honest. Yeah, just a bit of a shock, but yeah, just like I say, we mentioned a whirlwind week. My missus is cursing me because she thought she was getting 4 weeks off, but it just hasn't been the case, unfortunately.
It never is for football managers' wives. They're either along for the ride, or they just don't get a holiday either. In terms of your transition from AFC Liverpool into Burscough, how much of a heartbreaker was it to leave a club where you'd had 3 seasons of sort of quite decent success, and then you've kind of left on a real high? How did it feel?
Really tough, to be honest. I did leave with a heavy heart. The club's almost instilled in me. I captained the side as a player going back to the years when I was skinny and young. So I had 71 appearances at the club, and then obviously I managed them for 150 odd games as well. So yeah, there was an emotional attachment to the club and the people around the club. Your Chris's and Alan Harrison's, and even supporters. So it was a real tough decision, and I say it was a heavy heart that I left, but like I say, when a club like Burscough come knocking, it's an opportunity that you just can't turn down.
Yeah, listen, unwittingly, I don't know whether you're aware of this, but I probably played a big part in your story so far. So
take credit for this.
Right? When I came back to Skem, my first appointment was Matt Potter, which led to you getting the AFC Liverpool job. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I am actually, yeah, you're right. I can remember it very well.
Yeah, my name's still Mud, AFC Liverpool. And listen, I'd like to apologise to them as well, because when I first come back to the football club, I thought the pathway had already been cleared for me to go and approach Matt, because normally I would have gone down the right lines and approached the club, and I didn't. But like I say, I originally thought it was okay, so I did it, and I remember getting told over the last couple of seasons when we've not been doing particularly well that the bloke on the tannoy was celebrating every loss like it was he was winning the FA Cup.
Mean spirited.
It's tough, isn't it? And to be honest, I took a break myself. I think I've been out of management for 3 or 4 years, and you're always just itching to get back at that time after you've had the break. You want to get back in, and like I said, when Matt left, the first thing I done was text Chris. I was like, "What's going on? Is there an opportunity here?" So yeah, it worked out well in the end. So thanks for that, Frank.
Yeah, you're welcome. But listen, just tell us a little bit about yourself before AFC Liverpool.
Yeah, so I think I was 32 when I first went into management at McCull. McCull had stayed up on the last day of the season, or maybe 2 games to go under Steve Sumner, and then he couldn't commit to managing the following year, and I was the captain there, so they asked me to take it on, and lo and behold, we won the league. The lads we had there were a great group of lads, and they stuck together. We brought a few in from Ashton Town, the likes of Michael Boyle and Danny Dillon, Ryan Stamper, and a few others, and say Colin MacDonald, who obviously went on to manage himself, and so we went and won the league that year. Steve King as well, and then we got approached by remit, who was struggling. Counties 1 at the time. I think they were on something like 9 points to 11 games. Dave Abe had the job. He'd come over from Wales, and then I took that job. And over the course of 3 years, I think we finished our 3rd season, was 3rd, and got done in the playoff final by City Liverpool. Bootle came in for me at that point, and I'd done 12 months with Joe as a joint, and then lasted 9 games on my own, so I just thought, I can't be doing this anymore. And then I went back to Remy a little bit, and then I just wanted a good break after COVID, and like I say, and here we are now today at Burscough.
What length of a layoff did you have between FC Bootle, did you say, yeah?
So no, Bootle Football Club, so it was Joe Doran, me and Joe done it together. Right. I think on and off I had a few months, and then Colin MacDonald brought me back into the Remy. Went back there after James Olsen, and then after that I had 2 years out, I think, and then I played for FC Bootle, funny enough, at 40 years of age in the West Cheshire. And I knew I was past it then, to be honest. And then I ended up I took the FC Bootle job, to be honest, Frank. And I had the job for 2 days, and then I say you took my Potter to Skem, and I got the AFC job. So it was a terrible call to Tony there at FC Bootle. I had to let him down after being in charge for 2 days.
Yeah, I've just been listening to a podcast of yours. You were on. Is it Leggett podcast? Was it?
Oh yeah, it was Michael. I've totally forgot what it's called now. He's a great fella as well. Michael, what's it called? That now?
The Leggett podcast, was it, or something? No? Oh, straight from the off.
It's called Straight from the Off. Straight from the Off. It was, yeah.
Straight from the off. I found the podcast really interesting because it follows a young man's journey from growing up as a kid and going right through the system in Liverpool and the sort of outer districts, and follows a journey which gives you an awful lot of knowledge. You meet an awful lot of players during those years. I would imagine that your little black book is a bit bigger than most people's, and it's almost like you've served some kind of apprenticeship already. How important has that background been taking you forward into management itself?
I think it's key. I think obviously, your relationships with people in and around the city, and obviously, it's almost like you learn from managers you're involved with. So the first manager I had at AFC Liverpool, for example, was Derek Goulden. He was a superb tactical manager, knew his stuff, but was a bit more quiet. Then I had Paul Morsey, and he was a whirlwind. Like I say, he crucified if you weren't performing. So I think you take a bit of everything out of each dressing room, really, Frank, don't you? And you sort of grow with it and mature and take your own little bits from it. And like I say, when you have got quite a few people in the city, it's always great because you'll always get a phone call of someone from years gone by and say, I've got a lad here, he's 17, 18, come and have a look, that type of stuff. So I think you're right. I think it's key that you've got a background in the sport to be able to call upon people and pick up your own things and stuff.
Yeah, how old are you now?
44 now. I feel about 60.
44. Yeah, listen, we've always said this about, if we go back to AFC Liverpool, you sort of defy sort of footballing logic in the Premier League in the counties. In many ways, the club's been punching above its weight. One of those clubs that wins as many as it loses and scores as many as it concedes. From that perspective, and considering the lack of funds available to the club, it appears that only good management, both on and off the field, can make that possible. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think, to be honest, in my time alone, I was there 3 years. I think we had 2 or 3 rebuilds, to be honest, because obviously Matt went to Skem and the likes of Jay Howell and that went to yourselves, and it was almost like a full rebuild. So it just got to the point where we ended up going with a lot of young lads. We had a lot of lads from the Fowler College, reporting like about Owen Jones. So we had a really young side, and you're almost, like you say, you've got that naivety where you will concede goals because the game management isn't quite there or the experience isn't quite there. And we persevere with them, and we say most of them now have got 100 appearances at this level, and all of a sudden at 19, 20, 21 years of age, you're starting to see the fruition of the group now, and it's superb.
How do you manage to get a lot of players like that who are quite young to buy into the football club that is AFC Liverpool and buy into you as a coach, but then also not be overwhelmed by the reality of playing men's football? Because we've seen it with some lads who've struggled to make that jump from playing from academy football to full men's game. So how did you manage that expectation for them and yourself?
I think the hardest part about it, like you say, is they're not used to playing against men's football, and the lads that come out of academies used to playing on almost carpets, if you like, aren't they? And then all of a sudden you go into the likes of no disrespect, like a Daisy Hill or a pitch, a Bake Up or the likes of that, and it's tough because all of a sudden your first touch and your technical ability is tested a little bit more, isn't it? So I think that's always tough to do, but I think if you get the buy-in from the lads, because it is AFC and the budget weren't quite there, you're giving them experience and them also a pedestal to go and progress as a player. And I think that's the way you have to look at it. That's obviously depending on what club you're at. Whereas the likes of Burscough, who are such a big club with a slightly better budget, you're almost looking for experienced players that have been there, done it, and you bring in a bit of youth with that and mix it up. And I think it's a balance, isn't it, really?
I love the way you said slightly better budget.
Slightly better budget.
That's definitely manager terminology, that, isn't it?
That's like my budget. That's like my annual salary against Frank's. It's just slightly better, isn't it? Okay, so if we kind of look look back on your time at AFC Liverpool, then in terms of budgets, as you say, is there an element of frustration that kind of creeps into your mind as a manager when you think about what could have been?
Yeah, there is AJ. There is that, but at the same time, it's almost expectations on what the club and almost yourself is expected to do. Do we expect to win the Macron Cup? Absolutely not. Third year in, though, say if you look at it seemed to be dips and starts with us. So I think the first year in was just a mixed bag. We had a lot of young lads. Second season, we had probably a spell of 15, 20 games with a great run. And in the final season, we had such a slow start. We were on 8 points from 12 games. But the last 37 games, we went on to only lose 7 games, I think it was. And I think once you get that togetherness and almost a belief in the dressing room, I don't think the budget matters, does it? You see it at the top side. Look, if you look at West Didsbury, for example, their form dipped dramatically when they come onto the cups, and it doesn't matter whether you've got a £4,000 budget or 300. It's irrelevant, isn't it? I think form and confidence is key in football, and it's almost getting that balance and understanding of what you're expected to do and what you can achieve.
That confidence didn't look particularly good at the beginning of the season, though, did it?
No, I'm surprised it kept me job. No, it didn't, to be honest. And again, that comes down to pre-season. You always look back and think, where's it go wrong? Because realistically, the final 37 games was playoff form. And I put it down to the pre-season. A lot of the lads were away. I was away myself. I don't think we were particularly fit when we come into the first game. I always remember last year we went to MSB Walton, a pre-season friendly, and my lad was only 17 and he had to play left back. I had a winger playing right back. We were bare bones and they beat us. And it's no coincidence that set the season, the tone for the first 12 games. But the turning point was we went away to Charnock, and I'll always remember it. We drew. Ben Barnes came up for the corner, and we scored and equalised in the last minute, and that was the turning point. They almost believed in themselves again. Yeah. We went to Chaddy and turned them over 1-0, and then we didn't look back from that.
No, you absolutely didn't. We were quite astonished, really, at the, as you say, at the start and then as the finish. Really, we looked at you very early on in the season, and you were sitting about 20th or something like that, and we thought, my God, could the comeuppance be for AFC Liverpool? But then you the script flipped very dramatically kind of after Christmas, and the pull together that you had of results was absolutely insane. Was it difficult to get the lads to kind of continue to buy into what you were trying to do with them, and was it easy for you all to stick together?
Yeah, I think like you say, again, it comes down to the dressing room, doesn't it? We believed in the lads, and we could have panicked, and we could have probably slipped 3 or 4 out and brought 3 or 4 experience in, but we never. If you listen to the interviews throughout the season, I always believed we were a top 10, top 12 side, and so did the lads. And I think, like you say, it was difficult. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing worse. You know yourself, when you're not getting results, you don't sleep. You question yourself, and then all of a sudden, the group that we had, I probably made 3 changes every week until we fell on the result, and that's. It's almost like you second guess yourself, but I don't think I was ever concerned that we were going to be in that come the end of the season. I always believed that we would climb the table. Yeah. Not so much as well as we did, but I did believe in the group.
Yeah, of course. And then the Macron Cup came around at the finale of the season. Like you obviously said earlier on in the season, in the interview, that you had no expectations at all to win that. Was there any? When did it start to become a belief that you could?
I think when we turned the form around, and I think we beat Huxton, who was had a bit of a turn of fortune themselves, and started winning a few. We beat them 3-0 at home and beat them quite convincingly. And I think at that point you start realising, you know what, it keeps the results going, because you've got the lads that want to be in the side week in, week out then, because they want to play in the semi and they want to play in the final. So that belief and confidence, you're almost getting an extra 10 or 15% because you've got that cup run. And I thought that was important. It went hand in hand with the league form, really.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. But even in the final, you were playing a West Didsbury and Chorlton side who were, they'd been in the playoffs last season. You know, they're a solid team, well backed financially and with fans. Like, were you confident that you guys could beat them when it came to the final?
Absolutely, and it's strange to say that. I'm saying absolutely again when you're talking. If you look at their following, getting probably 900, 1100. Fans week in, week out, and some of the players they had like Ben Elliott, who had been playing for Prescott that season. Yeah, I was still confident because we beat them 4-1. AJ in the league about 3 weeks beforehand, and we took the game to them, and I knew they were vulnerable in the wide fullback areas because they like to push forward. And we exposed it at our place, and we stuck to a very similar game plan in the final. Even though they had some players back for the final, I was confident, and again we got the result that I thought we deserved on the day as well.
Yeah.
Listen, when Jay told me that he'd taken you on as manager, I wasn't surprised really. Well, a little bit surprised because he probably had 1 or 2 people that he probably thought were possibilities before he made the decision to part company with Dempsey. But I'm not blowing smoke up your backside, but I believe he's made the right appointment. You've done really well with AFC Liverpool. You've proven yourself there. Jay, as we mentioned off air, is a top chairman. He's one of the hardest working chairmen in the league. So I think it's a good match between manager and chairman. I think that relationship will grow and grow. I think you've already stated that you can't wait to get going. What's the next few weeks have in store for you right now?
Well, firstly, thanks. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Just to say that I'm the right man. I mean, only time will tell. But I back myself, and I back the current group that are at Burscough at the minute, and the lads that are coming in. So it's tough. It's always tough because, like you say, it's almost like it's been someone else's dressing room, if you like, and it's always almost hard to integrate a group of players into another dressing room. I think the key to it is obviously you've got to get the people to understand that it's not a us and them. It's an now us mentality, and we're a one. I think you identify that quickly, and we all get on the same hymn sheet, if you like. There's no reason why, well, I'll tell you, the expectation is already told me it's playoffs, so that's the expectation this year. But again, it's not just that, it's everything about Jay. Talking about Jay personally, he's 100 miles an hour, but he's so good. You don't even have to ask for something, it's done, and you're like, wow, that's impressive. And I think that drive will spur me on to drive myself a little bit further. He's already put me in the full youth setup management group. He's got a full WhatsApp group for every single manager in that group, and we're all in it. And again, the pathway for Burscough is important. The community in Burscough is an important community. I think over the years, no disrespect, I think there was a bit of a sour taste towards Burscough back in the past. I don't think that's fair to say. And I think the poor Paul and Jay have really turned that round, and you can see that by the attendances that increase and the amount of youth setups they've got there, the amount of sides they've got there. Look at the ground; it's all there. It's all there to basically to try and almost wake up the sleeping giant in non-league, if you like.
And how important in terms of decision making was that? Because Burscough have got their own ground as opposed to AFC Liverpool sharing at Bootle. It must have been an easy decision to make to go to Burscough. In one respect.
Emotionally, it was tough. Like I said, we just won the Macron Cup at AFC Liverpool, and it hurt to leave. But like you say, it almost was a no-brainer because of the fact that the foundations are there for Burscough. AFC Liverpool, like I said, starting with their own ground, and that's tough. And I think they've been promised their own ground for probably 3 years, and there's something still behind the scenes working towards. But like you say, it's just everything that comes with it. I think if you look at our last 4 weeks of the season, I think we played 14 games because all our games that were called off because of the grass pitch towards the end of Bootle. It backlogged. Our lads are playing 3 or 4 times a week. That alone, now we're down to 20 teams in this division, and you've got your 4G surface. You're not having to play 3 or 4 times a week, and I think against stuff like that, it's massive. It's massively important that you've got to bring your own money in. I mean, AFC Liverpool pay Bootle to rent the ground. That's coming off a budget, really, isn't it? So your budget's almost stretched because of that. So I think Burscough in the fact that they've got everything in place now, the foundation's there, the youth setup's there, the community backing is there. You've got Jay Spear fronting it, which is outstanding. And like I say, I just hope I can play my part in turn the club into a success next season.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Are you daunted by the task at all, or are you really looking forward to you trying to push your own ceiling? I suppose, given that the playoffs is the target, and I would imagine from Jay's perspective as well, he's wanting a trophy as well.
No pressure. No, I'm not. AJ, I'm not daunted by it at all. I'm excited, and like I said, the amount of hours that you know yourselves, the amount of hours that goes into it and goes into the management, it's almost like it's a full-time job. Yeah. But you don't get paid as a manager, so you're almost doing probably 30, 40 hours a week. Speaking to players, speaking to Jay. I think it's supposed to Jay 20 hours this week alone, but it's just, I'm not daunted by it at all. No, for me, it's an opportunity, and I'm excited because of the size of the club that is Burscough, to be honest. Yeah,
I mean, you've talked about a rebuild job that you've done at AFC Liverpool over the couple of years that you've been there. Are you envisaging the same kind of rebuild for Burscough to try and meet the expectations of the club?
I don't think it can be a rebuild. I think a rebuild is going to take 12 to 18 months. I think we've got to hit the ground running, and I think the first couple of games will determine that. You know yourself, I think the first 10 games are played in the probably first 3 weeks. I know that's almost set your tempo, your standard for the season. So it's imperative that we get a quick start. But I don't think it is a rebuild. Like I say, I think the lads that are at Burscough at the moment are committed to Burscough. I think the lads that we'll bring in ourselves will be committed to ourselves, and as long as we get that mix right, there's no reason why it needs to be rebuilt. Like I said, it's almost this is us. I've managed some of them players, the likes of Tom Corn, who was at Burscough last year, Kean Bell. I've managed these lads, and I know the other lads like Riggers and Kirky, and I know them all anyway. So I don't see it being an issue as a rebuild, really. So as long as we're all in it together mentality, I don't see it being a rebuild at all.
Yeah, I might have done you a little favour, because when I was speaking to Jay, I said don't expect too much in the first season, because it is a little bit of a build. It's a little bit more difficult. But listen, out of respect for your old club, you might not wish to answer this question, but how many players from AFC Liverpool are you likely to take with you?
It's a tough question, especially obviously going out to Twitter, and I'm probably not the most loved person at AFC at the minute, but it's football, like I said, and it's no disrespect to AFC Liverpool or any other club that we approach for players. It's a close season, and you've got to do what's right for your current club. And I think what's right for the current club may not be what's right for AFC Liverpool, unfortunately. But that's like I said, that's no. I'm not. If it was to take place from AFC Liverpool, it wouldn't be to hate AFC Liverpool anyway. It's because I've got a job to do myself, and maybe the players that were to come ambitious and maybe want to hit playoffs or trophies with Burscough.
Because listen, it was well known sort of a few weeks back, AFC Liverpool put something up on Twitter saying that they were struggling for finances and such like. So the likes of Elliot Morris, who's been scoring... Elliot Taylor, sorry, I keep saying Morris for some reason. But Elliot Taylor scoring goals for fun. He's had to put up with a lot, I would assume, with budget cuts at AFC Liverpool. Is he one of them that you're likely to bring with you? Listen, everybody wants to know the answer to that question.
He's overrated, Frank. No, I'm only messing. He's not.
He's overrated.
He's overrated.
He's overrated.
No, listen, I spoke to Ben.
It's a hype.
I spoke to Ben. I spoke to Ben Barnes at the weekend. He was at our last game on the weekend, and I said, "Listen, how good is Elliot?" And he said, "He's out of this world. He's outstanding."
He is. He's a top lad, and to be honest, we've had him for 2 seasons now. And the first year, I think he got something like 28 goals, and he'll tell you himself, he weren't fully fit. He got himself fit in the summer, and to score 46 goals at any level is insane. I think he played 52 games and scored 46. So he's an outstanding player. He's young. He's only 22, 23. Do I want Elliot Taylor at Burscough? If you're asking me that question, I think any club in the league would want Elliot Taylor at the forefront of their forward line. So I think it's just an obvious answer is yeah, but I think it won't be just us that'll be trying to get Elliot Taylor.
No. Anybody else that you can name that you will be taking with you? Ben Barnes, for instance?
Jay McShane, the assistant manager.
So you're not giving up too much there, like?
No, I'm not that brave, Frank, to be honest, because again, it always happens. I remember a few years back, I took the Bootle job, and Joe Jordan will tell you this, there's a lad called Colin Quirk, I don't know if you've ever come across him, really good player, both-footed, technically brilliant.
Yeah.
He gave me his word, he was coming over to Bootle from Remy when I left Remy, and we announced it at Bootle at the time, and he stayed at Remy, and I had egg on my face, so I won't be saying anything about who will be coming, who won't. Like I said, I think we've got our targets, and I'm sure other sides in this league will be probably identifying some AFC Liverpool players themselves.
Yeah, I said that in the first part of the show. It's that funny part of the close season, is it, where people turn around and say they've got a retained set of players, and then by the time the registration forms come out and somebody's offered them an extra £10, they're off like a 2-bob rocket, aren't they?
You know what? It just leaves yourself open to look like stupid, doesn't it? Really, if you're telling people now you've signed someone in May when the season finished, like 8-9 days ago from the Macron Cup day, like it's insane. Because like you say, you can't sign a player till the 1st of July. That's 6 weeks. That's a lot of time for people to stay in someone's ear for.
Listen, we obviously know he's an obvious target, isn't he, Elliot? And there'll be other players there that you'll want to work with. You can blend them two sets of players together with your new club now. I don't think a top 5 finish is out of reach at all. I really don't.
No, I agree. I think speaking to the lads, and it's not me out talking off the turn, speaking to the Burscough lads that I've spoken to so far, they've all agreed that obviously they lacked a little bit of firepower up top. But then again, that's not down to the lads who played up front, because if you look at the actual games they played, there was no consistency with a consistent 9. It was, I think they had Josh Carles, they had Tom Peterson, they had Tom Krohn, they had Lady, I think Matty Hamilton played there. You know, if you're a centre forward, you want to score 30, 40 goals, you need to play most weeks, and I don't think that happens, unfortunately, last season for Burscough. But they definitely lacked a 25 goal scorer. I think Lady was the highest with 17, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, go on, AJ.
There's one of the things that we've identified being on the show is that there's a huge conveyor belt of talent in the area of like Merseyside and West Lancashire, but there's also a heck of a lot of competition. I mean, we'll assume that you've got greater resources working at
marginally better,
but still you won't be able to compete with some of the other clubs. So I suppose, what will your approach be, and how difficult is it to balance ambition with realism at this level?
It's tough, and to be honest, it notices that West Didsbury have moved laterally the other way. The Midlands League is always a bonus because they'll always have a big budget. Yeah. Have in a short time, you've just come down, they've gone the other way. So, all of a sudden, 2 or 3 of the biggest sides that you're expecting to be competing with, if you look at Chadden, for example, one of the strongest sides last year, they just lost their main forward to a side from the division below, and I don't think he's gone there for the pack of sweets.
We're talking about Lewis Burn, are we?
We are literally talking about Lewis Burn, yeah.
He hasn't gone there for less money, has he? Let's put it.
Well, we just said it to Gary Langley there, that the reports are that he's going to Flixton for £600 a week.
That's insane.
Listen, it'll just be pure rumour, won't it, and speculation. But that's what's been said. But apparently he's got a lot of friends at Flixton, hasn't he? So it might be that's a new thing.
Yeah, but if you look at Shaddy, they're the same. I said they've just lost Benito Lowe and they've lost who's one of their better players, and they've just lost obviously Samuel Lewis. They've lost two big players. So again, but that doesn't mean to say they won't have their own conveyor belt of Manchester talent that be looking to come in. So yeah, it's going to be tough because there's no illusion. I mean, Jay's already told me because they've gone, he's expecting playoffs. But like I say, for me, everyone's got to improve. You've got to improve, otherwise you would have won the league and you'd have been out of the division. So every single side that were in the playoffs or missed out on playoffs will be looking to improve their own squads. And Burscough's no different to that.
What did you make of the FA League allocations today, and also the reduction in the size of the Premier Division? Does that favour you or what?
I think it favours you as a manager and as a group of players. I don't think it favours the clubs though, does it? Because again, if you're looking like West Didsbury bring probably 300-400 fans away from home, that in terms of finances, that's a lot of money to miss out on as a club. So I feel for every single side, and I think you can see it all over Twitter and the socials. It's tough if you're preparing the likes of Runcorn Town, for example. They've just come up and done the treble, and they find themselves in the Midlands League, so it is tough. And I feel sorry for every side that's done it. Cheadle Town's another prime example. They've just been moved lately, probably out the blue. So it's tough, and you've got to feel for these. And I think the benefit from us is we won't be playing Saturday, Tuesday every single week till April. We probably have just one game a week, a little bit more now, which is always a bonus, gives you more time on the training ground.
Yeah, of course.
In terms of pressure, though, I mean, looking at that league now, You've mentioned two obvious players leaving Chadderton. Burscough, really now, they're sort of looking odds-on favourites to win the league. There's no pressure at all.
I don't know, you've got Atherton OR in there.
It's like, I think you've been talking to Jay too much when you're back then, drills them. Just come up
His confidence will be steaming right now.
Listen, I think there's the obvious ones like Atherton OR. Atherton OR have done particularly well over the last few seasons, haven't they? So they'll be there or thereabouts. Georgetown, we don't know how they will fare in the at the higher level, nor do we know a great deal about Nelson. Sorry, what were you saying?
Nelson's a lot of ex-Clitheroe players, isn't it? The Clitheroe chairman went to Nelson, and a lot of their players were Clitheroe players last year because we beat them in the semi-final. So again, their budget's not going to be. I think they get 3-4 under their own, so their budget's not going to be too shabby. So we'd expect a performance from them. So it's going to be tough. And like I said, I certainly wouldn't say we were favourites. I think that to go from 10th in the league to favourite is a big ask.
Yeah.
But we know we're ambitious and we know what we want to achieve. We know our targets, and let's just hope we're there and thereabouts come May.
Well, I wasn't trying to stir the pot too much there because they're not. As AJ's I know. Well, AJ's just pointed out to me, there's also Earlham there, but I've not even mentioned Ramsbottom and Prestwich Hayes, who were having a particularly good season as well.
Yes, they were, and they've just signed Jesse Dowling as well. He's gone from Burscough to Prestwich Hayes.
Well, yeah, this is what I say about the silly season, isn't it? Because
so it's just all chaos, isn't it?
He can't sign anything till the 1st of July, so he could be back at Burscough before the
Yeah, Stafford will have a word with him, and all of a sudden he's back in the green again.
Yeah,
I think you had a chance to speak to him. But like you say, I don't find like you're saying, and AJ, what you're saying is spot on. If you look at LR, their ethos, that's a lot of lads who came from Bootle under-21s with Dave Jones, and look what he's done. His form from November, I don't think they lost a game until the third to last game of the season.
Pretty much.
And they won't have a big budget, and I think they were relegation material 2 years ago. So again, Prestwich Hayes, they're lads who came from Earlham 21s and have done a superb job there. So it's all right saying budgets and money and whatnot. The fact is, you still got to perform, haven't you? It doesn't matter what your budget is, you've got to perform.
Yeah, of course.
How would you describe your style of football management, the style of team that you put out, and who would you liken them to in that group, in the Premier Division right now?
Do you know what? I think one thing we are is, if you look at the pods, the energy levels that the boys have got is insane. It's probably because they're again the 19-20 years of age, 21, but we're getting lads hitting 12k from the middle of the parks. It's just we work hard together, we believe in it, we buy into each other, and there's no egos. We don't have an ego in the group, so we're certainly not Chelsea. But we're just a good group of lads. To say that they're all honest, hard working. I buy into them, I'll give them everything, and I expect the same back. Who was to compare ourselves to? It wouldn't be City and it wouldn't be Arsenal. I don't know. I think we play the right style of football. I think we get the ball out from the back, we try and play. When we lose possession, we get back behind the ball and we work hard. So I wouldn't know who to say we compare ourselves to. Maybe a Brentford or a Bournemouth if that's the way you want to look at it. But no, I expect standards and work ethic is key. The rest you can work with.
Yeah. And you're obviously a bit of a stat man there. I mean, I sort of disagree with this. I remember having a sort of conversation, a little bit of a fallout with Matt Potter when he was first manager of Skem, and I turned around and said one particular player had a bad game, and he turned around and said, well, he's done 12k according to his pod. And I said, yeah, but he's been running around the field, but he's not actually done anything. So how much sort of confidence do you take from those stats?
I think it's a bit of evidence. So the reason I looked at them in detail, like say for the 12Ks and whatnot, so for me, there was a prime example last year, I won't name who. So we had a centre forward and we had a 10. And when you look at them on the heat maps for the average position per player from the pod, our 10 was in the box more than our 9 at the time, which tells me that my 9's not staying between the sticks and the 10's running probably into the wrong areas a lot more because the 9's not there. So it's stuff like that you can work on. And like I said, I know you can't just say 12k. Obviously, the energy levels are going to be used in the right areas. We tend to have a high press from a mid block. So we tend to have a hard working 10 rather than a creative 10, and I think that's a little bit different. That's why I'm saying the energy levels. We like to swap our 9 into 10. So if for example last year Elliot Taylor was pressing the left centre half and the ball goes across the pitch, I'd expect my 10 to cover the right centre half and Elliot drops into a 10. So there's stuff like that you work on, but like I said, the stats only take you so far. Frank, don't do, let's have it right.
Yeah. Listen, to sum it up, what's the feeling like right now? How much are you looking forward to the new season? Can it come quick enough?
No, I can't wait. It's exactly that. I wish the offer probably was to come in 3 weeks' time, because it's almost now I've got 6 weeks to wait and get it. But it gives you time to get things ready. I think, you know what Jay's like, I think our pre-season's already pretty much complete apart from the 25th of July. It's the only date we haven't got done. Training's already in place. He's already got all the equipment there ready to go. So I think as a club, we're ready. I think obviously squad-wise we're not quite there because we don't know who's coming over and we don't know who we're bringing in and we don't know who's leaving. We probably won't know that for another week or two. Because you've got to give the lads a break as well. They've just done a 36-week season, so they need a week off as well. 2 weeks off just to regather their own thoughts. But I can't wait. Personally, I won't stop now. My missus has said I've got from, well, Jay's told me I've got from the 28th of June till the 28th of May till the 9th of June, and then that's it. And I'm back in. So there you go.
Yeah, in terms of the missus there, like you say, it's full on football. She gets sort of left in the background. I know you've had a meet, haven't you? The two wives have met. Your wife has met with the chairman, and all of that seems to be going perfectly well. But in terms of switching off, are you allowed to switch off? Does your missus make sure that you switch off for a certain period of time, or do you just forget what she's saying and get on with it?
No, I think she's got this thing at the moment where we've got to have a date night. So that's the one thing, which is fair. Like I said, what she puts up with outstanding, and it's a testament to any football wife. They're almost like a widow, aren't they? You don't see them, and it is tough. But yeah, no, we missed met Jay and Ash last week. When was that, Tuesday or Wednesday? And the conversation was really good, and basically Jay has already got her a hoodie, and he's told her that she's working on the club on a volunteer basis as well. So he's got her bought in.
Yeah, it's a good feel factor at Burscough. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I can imagine when you go out on your date night, there'll be a television on somewhere with the World Cup on, and you'll have one eye on that and one eye on the starters. But listen,
it doesn't stop. Like I said, it never stops, does it? There's always a phone call to be made. There's always something to be done. I think they've got a game tomorrow, the under-18s, which obviously wants me to go and watch that. Yeah. There's a meeting on Monday at the club to meet all the managers. Obviously, then you want to start watching the youth setup as well. You want to see what talent's available there. So it never stops. My lad's got a game Friday at Marine. He plays for Marine 23. So trying to fit everything into a week, it's almost impossible. So you don't get a break, but I hate my own company, to be honest. Frank, I hate sitting around doing nothing, so I don't mind being active. Listen,
thanks very much for coming on the show. Wish you all the very best for next season. I'm sure you're going to kill it there. You're going to do great things with Burscough. Look forward to seeing how you get on next season. And if we get the opportunity, get you back on the show when you've been there for a few weeks and see what progress you've made.
Oh, absolutely. AJ, Frank, thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for coming on the show. Thank you.
Care.
Hello and welcome to the final part of the Speaking Frankly football show. I don't know how many parts we've done, but I feel as though I've been spread.
Yeah, we've got sort of more parts than...
Auto part.
Sure, why not?
A garage. I don't know. More parts than
I was thinking documentaries.
Documentaries, all right. Okay,
Well, listen. Series.
We've already thanked Gary Langley, obviously. We've got to thank Phil Stafford for coming on the show. Two marvellous guests,
Thank you,
to
Phil.
be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, amazing guests, both with a lot of time, spent in the game, a lot of experience to show for it, and a lot of success where they've been and gone, both as chairman and manager in their own right, but then also as a committee member for the league in Gary's case as well. So I've no doubt he's doing a fantastic job, and I really wish Stafford all the best of luck at Burscough.
Yeah, and going back to Gary, did it answer all your questions?
I think so.
There's a lot of questions that need to be answered that we don't hear of, and it's probably difficult to pick it up in written form. So when somebody actually comes on the show and speaks as openly and as honestly as Gary has, with no fear of retribution, really, you're not breaking any rules or regulations as a representative of the North West Counties Football League. I was looking to understand the allocations, particularly with Flixton and Widnes, and I think he's answered that, and he's answered that the best way he can, and the only ones that can truly answer those questions are the FA at the end of the day. And I'm not particularly bothered. I think Flixton and Widnes are going to be an asset to the North West Counties.
100%, yeah.
No doubt about that. I'm down to go watch Flixton, down to see what the story holds for them, because it's got huge backing.
Money! That's the story. Money!
Yeah, but you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, of course it is.
It makes it interesting. We've argued about teams getting parachuted into divisions like the Chesters and FC Uniteds and Macclesfields. But you know what? They brought a bit of entertainment, a bit of light, very much
money as well.
brought talking points to the podcasts right across the country. So
yeah, they have.
That will carry on. But yeah, fascinated by what Gary had to say, and it's answered an awful lot of questions for me. Brilliant. We're going to have him back on the show sometime next season. See how things are panning out.
Yeah.
But I'm probably have Phil Stafford back on the show at some point as well, because I've got a feeling that he's going to have a really, really good season. I hope I haven't put any undue pressure on him.
I think you have. I think you'll be getting a phone call from Jay. Me as well.
But you know what? To be fair, Jay said, Jay's like me. He wants to win something.
Yeah, of course.
We all want to win something. But I did say to Jay, listen, just lower your expectations a little bit, because you've got a great manager. It's going to work, but it might just take a little bit longer than you really expect it to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because even if you're going to knit two things together, weave two things together, it'll take a little bit of time. It might just click.
Yeah.
And it's certainly if they get the likes of Ben Barnes and Caleb Jones, Elliot Taylor, they get them players over the line, then, and there's other players there that he'll mention himself.
Yeah, of course.
Over the course of the next few weeks. But if he can get them and blend them with the really decent players at Burscough Football Club, I can see them flying.
Oh, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
And it's just a pity that we can't play a part. It's great that we've got this podcast, because at least we can play a part in the North West Counties, albeit as podcasters.
Yeah, sort of from the sidelines, really, isn't it?
But I'm gonna try and get and watch a lot more North West Counties games next season, with the approval of the missus, of course.
Of course.
She'll probably kill me.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell her about it in advance.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that'll soften the blow. Listen, now that I've got no bloody bingo, I've got more time on my hands.
Yes, go watch the midweek games instead. You'll only spend...
I'm going to go. Yeah.
£6.
£6? Yeah. Sometimes it can cost me like £50 odd to go and play bingo.
Yes, it can.
Oh, it's a very... And then that's without playing the tables.
Well, you can play the raffles and the golden goals if you like.
Yeah. And got probably a better chance of winning there than I have at the Mecca.
It's all relative.
But I'm still going to cry.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Skelmersdale United Football Club.
Yeah, so Skelmersdale United's season has now officially come to an end. We finished our season with a defeat away at Ground Beat Tsffs Athletic, albeit with a what would you like? A skin and bones squad, if you like.
Well, so, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so we had a starting 11. Threadbare, yeah. We had a starting 11 plus a bench made up of one goalkeeper and one Andy Barlow. Not exactly the best kind of reinforcements that you'd be hoping for.
And you owe me a tenner, don't you?
No, I don't.
Well, what did I say to you when Andy Barlow came?
Yeah, you might have said a lot of things. I don't think I responded.
Can you remember what I said?
I bet you £10 that Barlow puts himself on.
No, I said, I bet you £10 that Barlow doesn't get a touch.
All right, fine.
And I was right.
Well, yeah, he brought himself on in the 90th minute and the game was done by the 93rd. He had 3 minutes.
Rolling back the years.
Rolling back the years.
You know what was really, really odd, and I don't know whether you noticed it, but he ran straight up to the referee and I thought, come off it.
Already?
He can't start arguing with the referee, but he had his wedding ring on, so he gave the referee his wedding ring.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's fair. So we were beaten by Granby Toxteth 4-2 on the day.
Great club.
Yeah, one of our favourite clubs, really well run, full of really nice people, both on the sidelines and on the pitch. Yeah, and actually had a bit of a following to them as well. I think there were at least 20, maybe 30 fans there from Granby Toxteth supporting their local club. They ran out 4-2 winners in the end. We were ahead 2-1 leading up to half time, and then we conceded a goal right on the stroke of half time, and then we were under the cosh for a good chunk of the second half. We had a couple of chances, to take something more in the second half. Weren't able to take them. Granby did. They lay siege to our goal in the second half. They had willing runners for the full 90. They overran us in defence, and came away with 2 fine second half goals to finish our season on a bit of a dobby downer.
Yeah, it was, and of course it was our presentation night later that evening.
Yes, it was. We'd have liked to have gone in with a win. It wasn't to be, but it was a lovely presentation night, one in which Brandon Carrington scooped the awards all by himself, won all 4 awards, managers player, players player, fans player, and top goal scorer. An excellent season for him as an individual, amidst the what has to be sort of quite a disappointing, difficult campaign for us, and inherently frustrating at times.
Yeah, it has been. There's been absolutely no doubt about that. And then when you look at the sort of external politics and the issues that we've faced over the last, not just the last few weeks and months, but the last few years, it's been difficult for everybody involved with Skem. But one thing that people have to remember is those people that stayed at the football club 3 years ago and are still here now. And I'm not blowing smoke up my backside, but what I'm saying to is everybody else that's been involved, that stayed at the football club, deserves a medal. They're a credit to the football club. We know before I came back that half the board decided to go. And listen, they have their own reasons for it, and I'm not objecting to it. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done, but your timing was a bit crap. But
yeah, well, what are you going to do? We can't wax bitter about those kind of things, unfortunately. We will be kind of reaping the successes our own when that time does come back around, when we're still here and they jump on the bandwagon. That's part and parcel of football. They're never there when we're losing, but they're there screaming joy when we're winning.
And Rowena and Dawn put on a good show again, didn't they?
They always do.
Yeah,
always do.
At short notice, it has to be said.
Pulled out a worldie there.
The one thing that we couldn't do is we couldn't organise a presentation night as early as we would have liked, because we didn't know
when the season was finishing.
We didn't know, because you don't find out until near the end of the month what your next month's schedule is. So we couldn't really. So it was a very, very last minute thing to organise, and the ladies pulled it off again.
Yeah, I had no doubt. I had no doubt that was exactly how it was gonna work. They absolutely flourished with so much food, being on offer. I had wonderful company on my. I would tell you, I was on the kids' table with Barney and Barlow, and Barney's kids and their respective missuses as well. So we were the kids' table, making all the noise, drinking all the drinks.
I just floated around the room like you do with your own.
As a chairman, you absolutely.
Yeah, but when you're on tramadol, like you're above the looking down and everything. But I was the first to get up and sing as well.
You sang Green Green Grass of Home, which I said to Andy, as soon as you make towards that karaoke bar, I said, I bet he sings Green Green Grass of Home. And true to form, you absolutely did.
And there's a reason why that is my opening number, of course, because I'm hoping that when we do get back to Skem, it will be the Green Green Grass of Home.
Well, we'd like to hope so.
So on a rating, 0 to 10, how did they fare? Did it do okay?
Good solid 6. I think
You're joking?
Got a bit of a baritone voice, haven't you?
I got told it was a 10. All day long.
That was the tramadol.
No, the DJ.
All right.
The DJ.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and a few other people turned around and said, I didn't realise you had a voice.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
That.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you caught the first part of it, like when I was introducing the song.
No.
We're going to sing the green, green grass of home here. It's a little bit of Tom and Jones here. Please don't throw your knickers all at me at once.
Jesus, you and
So you're going to tell me now me Welsh is more Irish than...
bloody awful.
Is it bloody awful?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you've tried it a little bit yourself, but that's as much as you could do. But yeah, so listen, it has been a disappointing season in many ways, but a learning curve in other ways.
It's been another learning curve, and Andy's had a full season, near enough a full season, under his belt of managing now. We obviously have Barney back full time, so that's the management team that we were hoping for. We're hoping to retain the services of Josh and Eve as the strength and conditioning coach and the physio. So our backroom staff will be as strong as what it can make it. We're hoping that a lot of the players that we've had last season will be retained as well, so we won't be doing another rebuild, as well as bringing in new additions that will make that squad stronger and hopefully launch an attack on the top 5 and make us competitive in our new home at Burscough.
Yeah, and a big thank you to Caleb Jones, who's left us to pursue other interests
and new opportunities.
He's been a breath of fresh air while he's been at the football club.
Yes, he has.
Brought a fair amount of talent to the football club
and experience in his own right. As a manager.
Particularly Ello and Rob Arnold, great players.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's brought some serious names to him. Jay Tyrer as well, I think, was a particular standout during the tail end of the season. Yeah, so we're very grateful to have those guys, and hopefully they stay with us. Yeah,
we wish in the meantime we wish Caleb all the very best for the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we've come to almost the end of our second. Well, we've come to the end of our second season of the Speaking Frankly show, Speaking Frankly football show. And as I said earlier on, I think this is our 70th
it is.
episode. That's a huge milestone for us personally.
We will easily reach 30 by. We'll reach 100 by.
Well, that's the target, isn't it? I mean, if when we started out on this journey, just to imagine that we got anywhere near 10. And then all of a sudden we're getting to 70, and now we're talking about our next sort of big milestone,
triple
being 100.
Figures. Jesus.
That would be amazing. Listen, and it's all down to the support of the listeners, the people that tune in every week to listen to both of us talk a load of bollocks. We really appreciate it. The show has changed a little bit. We're far from
structure.
Pitch perfect. We've changed the structure, like you say, a little bit. We've become more grumpy. And oppositional, but to be fair, we did discuss that when we have our little talks about the podcast. We thought we're too nice.
We are too nice, and I think in the early stages when we were still learning how to be podcasters, I was still learning about non-league football and the northwest counties in particular.
You had a more difficult job.
I did, so I really had to do my homework before the shows went to record. Whereas now, it's part of my DNA now.
Well, you lead as well as follow, don't you now? Because
I do.
Like you say, early doors, it's very much a follow, suck and see situation, isn't it? And you've managed to go full circle and lead as well, and do a pretty good job at it as well. In fact, an outstanding job.
Stop.
Even though you take the mick out of me and you don't think I've got a good Irish accent, you think I'm a six singing.
Yeah,
I'm telling you now.
Anton Deck did the same thing. So do you know what? We're just the non-league Anton Deck. Well,
I was going to say there. I mean, you hung around long enough to hear Duncan. What they call now? PJ and Duncan. Who sang the PJ Duncan song?
Do you mean Let's Get Ready to Rumble?
Let's Get Ready to
That
Rumble.
was PJ and Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah, but who sang it for us on the night at the karaoke?
Was it Leighton?
No, I think Leighton sang on his own, didn't he?
Oh God, it was Brandon and Ello.
Brandon and Ello.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They are PJ and Duncan, aren't they? Those two.
So now, listen. If I'm a six, I mean, I'm really annoyed that you said a six. Such an accomplished singer like me. It's got to be a 10 all day long there. The old hometown.
You're not actual Tom Jones. Like we do need to make that clear.
Yeah, but I could do a fairly good impersonation. I would have thought,
If you say so.
Yeah. Anyway, like I say, the very fact that we've managed to get to 70 shows
and
is an achievement in itself, because it might not seem like it, but it does take an awful lot of organisation to put on a show like this.
For you, largely. I think I just rock up and wing it, but we do collab a lot during the week, trying to bring stories together.
Every day, so the minute that we've left this show, we're thinking about the next show. We're sending messages to each other.
Constantly on social media. Social media to...
We've become real saddos now, aren't we? We're like sort of Northwest Counties spotters.
We kind of are a little bit. And, we like to think that we're a decent platform for non-league football in this area, made up of the Northwest Counties, the Northern Prem.
And we managed to expand it a little bit. I know we did. We sort of we sort of had a dalliance with other divisions, but what we've tried to do now is bring all the local teams in the Northwest into the show, whether that be National League North, Northern Premier League, Premier, or Northern Premier League West. We've tried to bring them, and sometimes we've ended up having we've ended up going further afield, haven't we? We've talked about hashtag. We've talked about
Farsley Celtic.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Farsley Celtic. So in the league allocations today, what have FC Farsley got?
So Farsley FC, as far as I was aware, they were allocated step 6. It's just
I'll leave that one with you, because we're going to hopefully have David Stockdale on the show sometime during the close season. So what we're doing is we're closing down the show for a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then when we come back to it, we're going to just do episodes where we interview people.
Just specials.
Yeah, specials. So we're hoping to have David Stockdale on the show. He's agreed to come on the show. We just need to get a time together. And possibly, we'll still be able to sort of brief you on what has changed.
Yeah, which we would imagine is a lot. Considering the great deal of turmoil that they were in last season, but then also their rebuild, as you say, under David Stockdale. So it'd be dead interesting to see how they've.
We can't see anything. I can't see whether they've been allocated to it.
FC Farsley confirmed that the club has not been placed into Step 6 for the National League system.
I didn't think.
While this outcome is not what the club had initially aimed for, FC Farsley remains in a strong and positive position as preparations continue for the new season. The focus now is firmly on ensuring the club is placed at Step 7 and continuing to build momentum across all areas of the organisation. It feels it's done everything possible to present itself ready for Step 6 consideration. It's not resulted in progression at this stage. Remains fully committed to its long-term vision and journey of development, growth and continuous improvement. Work is ongoing behind the scenes to ensure the club is well prepared for 26-27 season. David and Katie have shared their thoughts that, there's naturally ambition that they want to be further along in the pyramid. They feel they've done everything possible, so it is a bit of a disappointment that it's not resulted in step 6. So they're just committed to ensuring that they're placed at step 7 and building and going building and going in the right direction.
So they don't actually say the reasons why they've not. We take it they did apply for the step 6 and
that's correct.
They've been rejected.
Yeah,
refused.
It would seem so. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder because the ground itself, it's had a bit of a makeover.
It has.
They've laid a new pitch. They've got a decent clubhouse there, which I think has been refurbed to a degree. You can only assume that the only reason why they've not been allocated with the league is to do with finances, particularly when you look at the likes of Flixton. And Witness, or certainly Flixton with the money the backing that they've got.
Yeah, you have to wonder whether that Farsley have got that same kind of backing. Both in the stands and in the coffers, really, because they went very quiet after they were rebranded under the Stockdales. So it sort of remains to be seen why. Well, yeah, again, why they haven't. That'll be a question to ask them.
And it raises the question whether there's a Barthorpe block going on there as well, because we interviewed him on the show, didn't we? But
yes, we did.
I'm assuming he still actually owns the land.
I'm not sure.
I wonder whether that could have created an issue. I don't know. But listen, it's neither here nor there. But we'll be having a few specials and updating you on what's going on in the leagues as and when we can as well.
Only ever so often, because we've earned a break from the show for a little bit as well. Yeah,
most definitely. They've got to somehow recover from this itchy cough.
So you're going to hand over the reins to me for the last little excerpt of the show.
Yeah, I'm going to say to you, right, listen, the final words go to the dulcet tones of AJ... I was just going to say it for...
No, don't, no!
Ava J. Vajet.
Don't know how on earth that carried on, but... Shit. You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vajet, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on most streaming services wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Amazon Music. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe to the show so that you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also available on social media sites, most prevalently Facebook and X, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from myself and Frank, thank you very, very much to everybody who has tuned in to an episode of the show over the course of this magnificent second season. Thank you so much for your support, for your time, for your comments, and your commitment to listening to two idiots spouting nonsense about non-league football at this level. We truly do appreciate all your support. So this is AJ and Frank signing off for the second season. We will be back very soon for season 3. Until then, a very goodbye for now.